Good evening, my name is Alun, and in my time this evening, I'm facilitating a session of Alun Dark. Alun Dark is my game, as it happens. It's just been put on itch.io for free, because you'll understand that because this is to a large extent dependent on the Alien franchise, the property rights for that are too expensive for me. So it's free. Do please go and have a look at it. Any of you familiar with the Alien franchise will know something about what I'm going to say later on. But for now, let me just start by introducing why this game comes to be. This is run as part of the Gauntlet RPG community's Gauntlet Hangouts. We as a community run hundreds of games every month online, mostly indie OSR story games, but not always. And this particular game is part of the first Gauntlet Community Open Gaming weekend. Given the strange circumstances many of us find ourselves in, being trapped at home at the minute, the Gauntlet has decided to offer a free opportunity for people to come and try online gaming, to try playing with us. And we're playing from, it's Thursday evening my time now. I think the first games went on a couple of hours ago, and we're playing through until Sunday evening my time. You know, our hope is that it gives people who aren't particularly experienced with online play a chance to have more experience of it and then go and play elsewhere, or maybe come back and play with us. The Gauntlet has a Patreon, and that supports a range of podcasts and Codex, the monthly Gauntlet zine, though frankly it's transcending that very simple description of the quality of product. And at a certain level in the Patreon, people also get priority access to games such as this. But the games are all open to anybody. I'll be honest with you, if you don't have priority access, they do fill up quite quickly with people who do. So, you know, if you're listening to this and you think I'd like to find out more about the Gauntlet, please do look up Gauntlet RPG, and Google is your friend. It will send you to tell you more about us. So this game, Alun Dark, is, as I say, set in the Alien universe, which is to say it's late in the 22nd century, and this is about people colonizing the frontiers of human space. Greedy corporations vie for valuable resources. Colonists gamble with their lives trying to make a new life for themselves. And all of these worlds are relatively unknown, unexplored. And there are things lurking in the shadows, and those things are very alien. We'll be using the rules that I've built around the core of Cthulhu Dark by Graham Walmsley. Great game. The rules, Cthulhu Dark has been modified to reflect the setting. So the principal changes are that in my game, it's possible for characters to succeed sometimes through the use of force. They're not quite as powerless in the face of the unknown as characters in Cthulhu Dark. And in addition, there are ways that characters can, at a cost, seek relief from the horror. And I'll be honest, those are inspired by my experience of playing Mark Diaz Truman's Cartel Quick Start by Magpie Games, which is a phenomenal game. You know, I eagerly await the full version, but that's a really powerful game. But unsurprisingly, the final and significant source of inspiration for this game is the recently released Alien RPG from Free League Publishing. The aim of this session. This session is titled Fiorina 161, and the players will be playing characters who are members of the 7-person crew of the USCSS commercial starship Lake. The Lake has been contracted by Eigen Disposal Inc., EDI, if I remember to use that abbreviation, to undertake a survey of the mothballed mining and ore processing facility on Fiorina 161. EDI are handling the sale of the site by Wayland Yutani and need to confirm that it conforms to the specification provided by Wayland. This session, if you know the timeline, or you know the first 3 or 4 films of the Alien franchise, then this session is timed to take place 2 years after the events of Alien 3. and that is the Alien movie where the escape pod from the colonial marine USS Sulaco crash lands on Fiorina 161, and bad things happen. So this is 2 years after that. Not that the characters know anything about those events, which were covered up by Weyland-Yutani. So as far as they're concerned, this is just another, job. Of course, the players may know all that, and I've just told them. Part of, I think, the enjoyment of this game is knowing what happened in the films, but then playing to find out what happens around that. The tone of this session is intended to recreate some of the atmosphere of the Alien movies. We have everything that franchise has brought to popular culture, and the game is intended to be rich in tension, darkness, and foreboding. It may also involve characters making hard decisions about the fate of other characters. There are certain moves in this game that can end up disadvantaging another character in order to advantage yourself. The fate of all the characters, though, it must be said, bleak. Technology in this game is retro future. It's bulky, and it resembles that 1980s view of the future that the first movies put out there. In terms of subject matter, there is a content warning. This is a game in which body horror is really quite likely. We know that in the Alien universe, people serve as hosts for xenomorphs and are viewed as expendable by corporations that compete to exploit the frontier and the xenomorphs. Given the nature of the material, therefore, we'll be careful to use the safety tools espoused by the Gauntlet community. Specifically, the X card, and I've explained to the players before we started the recording that X card can be played at any time. And something I didn't say to them, which I'd intended to, was that if something comes up and you let it go, but then it comes up again and you think, actually, with hindsight, I'm not comfortable with this, feel free to X card at that point. The X card is always live. No matter what your previous decision might have been, you can always change your mind about where you want to play the X card to stop the action and have me rewind it so we can go around the material that you might have found disturbing in a bad way. We're also playing with the current draft of the Gauntlet Code of Conduct, and I like to summarize that as don't be a dick. And I know I've had a chat with the players, and I know that I won't need to refer to the Code of Conduct tonight. We'll be playing with an open door, so if stuff does happen in the real world, people are perfectly welcome to use the open door, step away from the table. We hope they'll step back, but if they don't, that's fine. And finally, we're playing with lines and veils. Lines are those things that we will not see in the fiction. My starting lines are sexual violence and violence against children. And we're also playing in one where we don't kill any domestic animal. And I'd like to extend that perhaps to we don't harm those domestic animals. It is possible that we might see oblique references to those, but I will try to make sure that we don't. And the players know that they can add any other lines to those starting ones. In terms of my starting point as a veil is content that may be in the fiction, but we will draw a curtain across so we don't see the detail on screen. My starting point is sex. It could happen, but we won't see it described. It will go on behind the curtain, behind the veil. And again, the players will be adding to that veil if they wish to before we start. So that's our starting point. Let me just then ask the players. Greg, I beg your pardon, Greg. I didn't see you go. Good. What I'd like to do is I'll do it in the order I can see you on the screen clockwise from me. So introduce yourself, say hello, tell us anything you want to tell us about yourself, or in fact nothing. It's entirely up to you. Can I say, Philip, say hello to people?
Sure. Hi, people. I've played probably maybe a dozen games with the Gauntlet over the past few years. I enjoy playing lots of new and interesting things, especially at conventions and things like this. So I'm just excited to play in a new system with everybody.
Thank you, Philip. Glitch, say hello, and let us know anything you want
to. Hey, I'm Glitch. I don't know. I like to play tabletop games, but I often have a difficult time actually arranging for it. So the ability to play online and all of that is something that's been a growing interest and something that I've been starting to do. So.
Oh, I can relate to that. I used to play seasonal games face to face, and now I play twice a week. It's technology is helping us. So I hope this encourages you to play more online. Going round, Kim, say hello. Talk to us.
Hello, I'm Kim. Most of my RPG is sort of one-shots at conventions, but I'm trying to branch out into more.
Well, I hope this encourages you to. Typically on the Gauntlet, we play in kind of 4-session series, weekly for a month, and then a change of game. So, variety is the spice of life. Greg, introduce yourself. Say hello.
Yeah, I'm Greg. The Gauntlet's been pretty awesome. I've been getting into storytelling games, like the PBTA stuff. And it's interesting because through my recent interest in RPGs, I realize I really love horror a lot more than I realized. I was never a big horror movie fan or books, some, but yeah, love the Cthulhu, Alien, all this sort of stuff. So
great. Well, I hope to make you slightly disturbed, or at least nervous. Okay, so the setup for this session. And I will just read this as I said earlier. This is set 2 years after the events of Alien 3, and the USCSS Lake has been commissioned to survey, or the crew has been commissioned to survey the mothballed refinery, and the deal is, if you don't get this done swiftly, then the lake is going to be repossessed, because the penalty clauses on this contract are penalty with capital P. So there is a time pressure. You can't relax into this. You need to get this place surveyed in a hurry. Let's talk about characters. So if you have a look at the character keeper, would you like to pick a colour and first come first served? Just put yourself in the player name slot, your name and your pronouns, and then we'll go forward from there. That's a huge relief, because at this point I usually find that I've forgotten to give people edit access. So so great. We'll come back to character name. You'll see at the top, stress, manifest, expertise available. I'm curious what you used to be. So Philip, would you like to tell me what you used to be?
I used to be a colonial marine.
Okay.
I was not a very good colonial marine.
Okay, fingers crossed that you're not going to be a terrible member of the crew. Can I skip across to Kim? Kim, what did you used to be?
I used to be a medic, and then I burnt out.
Fine. So if you will hit the drop-down box and select medic, you're home free. And then skipping back to where I can see the character keeper. Glitch, what did you used to be?
I'm used to using my mic. I'm going with, when it loads, criminal.
Fine. Oh, very interesting.
Give me a
Okay.
moment. There we go. So.
There you go. You have done questionable things, but people don't care about that out here on the frontier. Some even value it. Well, let's discover if anybody does. And finally, Greg, tell us what you used to be.
Roughneck.
Spot on.
So, yeah, building the frontier.
Now you'll see, folks, that for each of those roles, an example skill set, your base expertise, you know, the stuff you learned doing those jobs has come up. The box below that asks you what you do now. And let me stress that there is no need to connect what you do now with what you used to do, because you're all going to be members of the crew. And if you check out the Fiorina 161 background, you will see that the various crew positions, there are 6 crew: captain, executive officer, pilot, science officer, navigator, chief engineer, engineering technician, but also a representative of EDI, of the corporation that's contracted you to go. So let me go the kind of reverse-ish. Greg, you used to be a roughneck. What role do you fill on the lake?
Let's see. How about chief engineer?
I
worked my way up, bettered myself. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So do you want to come up with a name for yourself and slot it into that crew roster alongside chief engineer? Let me roll around to Kim. Kim, which position on the lake do you hold?
I'm the scientist.
Okay, you're the science officer. So medic turned science officer. Fine. So give yourself a name, fill it in on the crew manifest, and then on the character keeper. Glitch, let me come to you. What role do you fulfill? Oh, I'm not hearing you, Glitch.
Yep, because I muted my mic. Navigator.
Okay. So we've got a navigator, we've got a chief engineer, and we've got a science officer. Philip, what are you thinking?
XO. So
Fine.
the executive officer / pilot.
Fine. So if you fill yourself in on the manifest and on the character keeper, that I think means that we are left with the captain, the navigator, the engineering technician. Oh no, hang on, I've lost somebody. Chief engineer Greg, science officer.
I'm the navigator.
Sorry, you are. I beg your pardon.
No problem.
And the EDI rep. Okay. What's the name of the captain, Philip?
Emily Jackson.
Why don't people like her?
Because she's kind of a jerk, good at what she does. After about knowing her for about 10 years or so, you start to like her, but the first 10 years are rough, which is what I tell the crew.
So have you been shipping out with Emily for a long time then?
I figure, I kind of saw that she was the pilot of a like a gunship, like a helicopter pilot when I was in, and I was kind of her door gunner. And we've been together for a lot of years, and we've gone from that to this.
Okay, let's consider the engineering technician. I think probably it makes sense for me to ask our chief engineer about the engineering technician. What's the name of the engineering technician, please, Greg? Oh, you are muted.
How about Jimmy?
I can work with Jimmy. Glitch, tell me, what's Jimmy's worst characteristic? Or the worst thing about him. Needn't be a characteristic per se.
He's kind of skittish.
Okay.
And it can get frustrating. Especially in the environment that we're in.
Yeah, you live in each other's pockets. The schematics tab shows you the kind of living quarters, the environmental quarters on the lake. It's pretty tight. And then, let's see. Maud, tell me about the EDI rep.
She is startlingly attractive and a completely awful human being. She hasn't bothered to learn our names, and she's been with us for a while.
Okay. What's her name?
Evelyn.
Evelyn. Wow, what an unpleasant bunch they are. Okay. Philip, you're playing Greg Fayne. And you'll see that below the example skill set on your character keeper, it says, "What do you do now?" So just put in, your role on the lake there. And likewise, Glitch, you used to be a criminal. What do you do now? Fill in what you do now based on your role. And the way what this does is it expands your expertise. So, Greg's character, Elroy Smithson, when Elroy is doing stuff with engineering, he has expertise. We don't define what that means on the ship. As long as Elroy can make a case for this being in his expertise, then he has expertise. Similarly, if Maud, our previous medic, who's now the science officer, if it's to do with science, Maud has expertise. You make the case to me if you think I'm being harsh and saying, I don't think that's expertise. Describe yourself as others see you. I'll give you a moment just to write in that box what do we see on screen when we first see these characters? Take a minute and fill in that yourself. And Glitch, if you could also name your character, that would be helpful, because I'd like to move to character names now. And if you want to now look at the next section down of the character keeper, there's a question that says, why did you come out here to the frontier? Let me start this time with Greg. Why did Elroy come out here to the frontier? And if you hit the drop down, you'll see a range of possibilities.
I'm thinking greed. I think he's looking to get a big score so he can get out of this rat race.
Okay, so he'll be very keen to get this job done, in fact, ahead of time, because while the penalty clauses are crippling, there is actually a slight cash incentive to getting this survey done quickly. So the life is crap, but who knows what you could pick up out here. And there's a question that then fills in below that says, what stuff do you value more than anything or anyone?
I would say I have a family I've been supporting, a wife and a wife who is, she's pretty infirmed, and so I'm getting the money to take care of us, and so she's back.
Now that tells me that she's important to you, and that's where the paychecks go. But it doesn't tell. It tells me why you're greedy. It doesn't necessarily tell me what you're greedy for.
Ah, gotcha. Greedy for.
I mean, it could be anything valuable. I don't know. I mean.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking. He wants, so I guess what, greedy for? I mean, so money obviously enables him, right? Enables his life. So he, well, how about this? The stress of supporting his family is getting to him. So he just wants to get as much money as he can to get that off him.
So the most valuable stuff then?
Yeah.
Okay. If that's cash, that's great. But if it's not cash, portable wealth.
Yeah.
Okay. Maud, why did you come out here? So, tell us what your...
I expected to have student loans, basically. I expected to be a combat medic for a lot longer, and getting out left me with some debts.
Now, I've noticed that you've gone for debt, and so has Manny Arroyo. It's more fun if they're different. Glitch, are you really wedded to debt?
I was kind of
I'm
going
not
with it.
wedded to debt.
Oh, well, fair enough.
I can switch. Just come back to me.
Fine, I'll come back to you. So let's go to Manny then. Manuela Arroyo. You came for debt. There comes a point where your options get real narrow. So what do you owe, and to whom?
Trying to, if it's feasible for it to be, just trying to pay off what I'm going with insofar as criminal past was a lot of like kind of spacefaring, like maybe sabotage, salvaging, and that kind of thing. And so she kind of, as part of their sentence, also has to pay back some of the financial damages that were incurred.
Right. So you owe the government. Right. Now, of course, governments have privatized the penal system. So I'm going to suggest that you owe Wayland Yutani the debt. Yeah. Are you up to date with your payments? Okay, okay. I get it. I get that drift. Fine. Okay. So if you can just summarise some of that in that free text box. Moving on, then I'll come back to Maud in a moment. Greg Fayne, why did former Marine NCO Fayne come to the frontier?
Quite frankly, because Emily asked me to, and she said she was going, and where she was going, I kind of have to go. So, wasn't really, don't want to be here, but this is where I have to be.
So you've chosen duty. So you believe in that relationship and what that relationship stands for.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. What would it take for you to betray Emily?
An act of God.
Really? So you will never betray her?
I kind of pictured the two of us were shot down and spent a lot of time together, and that's when we decided that we were out of there. It was, we were, I see Greg as he's just cooked. He's just,
Okay.
he's got that 1,000-yard stare. He's just done as a soldier, and yeah.
So you would never betray Emily, is what you need to write in that box. Does that mean you always do what she tells you?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
My job to keep her moving in the right direction, and most of the time she doesn't know what the hell she's doing.
Okay. That gives me something to work with. And then finally, let's come back to Maud. You've opted for curiosity. You have always been fascinated by the unknown. What would you give up to know more about the unknown, Maud?
My first impulse is just about anything, but I'm going to say my humanity.
Oh, wow. Fine. Right. Final set of questions. And I'll go back round to Greg. Which member of this group, of these 4 player characters, Greg, do you care most about? We know you care about Emily, to keep her on the straight and narrow. But what of these? Is it Manny, Elroy, or Maud?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know if it was Greg the player or Greg the character.
Oh, sorry. So, yes, yeah, that's that. Yeah, I will try to stick with character from now on.
Okay. Let's see. I think I'm thinking maybe Manny.
Okay.
And it's one of those where just the gruffness. It's one of those where I kind of
the trick here is that you nominate. They tell you why you like them.
Okay.
Yeah. So ask them why. Manny, why does Greg care more about you than anybody else?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose I could go with tying into the whole gruffness. I feel that they maybe have a sort of commonality in kind of rough experiences, and that that kind of seeing eye to eye.
Maybe they both have that same everything is hopeless thing. They're less dreamers.
Very grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if Greg can fill that in, if Philip can fill that in for Greg in his character keeper, I'll move along. Manny, who do you care most about? Of course, this needn't be reciprocal. There's no sense in which you now have to pick Greg.
Maud.
Maud, why does Manny care most about you?
Manny appreciates my ends matter more than the means attitude.
Can you go with that, Manny?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Elroy, who do you care most about in this group?
Let's see. I'm thinking Manny.
Okay.
Because she seems like the only one who has any competency. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to say that. So, Manny.
Go on, Manny. It's so tempting, I know.
Yeah.
What do you think, Manny? Why does Elroy care more about you?
Maybe the sort of idea of like, and he just kind of went out and took things that they wanted out of like, for like the money and all of that, just kind of had a very straightforward like, I want money, I need money, I'm going to just completely take over this ship and get what I need.
So does, yeah, I mean that sounds a bit like Elroy, doesn't it? You know, he wants that money. Can you work with that, Elroy? Fine. Just summarize as best you can. And finally, Maud, which member of the team do you care most about?
Greg.
Greg, why does your science officer, Maud, care more about you?
I think part of it has to do with her medical background. She thinks of me as somebody that's broken that she can fix.
Can you run with that, Maud?
It's a little more hopeful than I think that I'm aiming at, but I can try.
So, if you can summarize that under in that section, and then I'll go back round and I'll ask Greg who you care least about. Who's the most dispensable?
I will twist it this way. I will say Maud, and I will say, and I'll ask you why.
Maud, why does Greg care much less about you than you seem to care about him?
Despite not technically being a deserter, I think Greg, yes. I think he thinks that me no longer being a medic is somehow a moral failing.
Okay. Yeah. Can you work with that, Greg?
I can.
Okay. Manny, which of the team do you think is most dispensable?
Dispensable.
Sorry, I didn't want to infer that. That you care least about.
I have an idea in mind. So possibly Greg.
Greg, why does Manny think that you are the one she should care least about?
I think the same reason why in Manny's mind, if a person is as gone as Manny is, they expect that the person would do anything, so most likely to betray her.
Most likely to betray you, Manny? Can you live with that?
When you have perceived as the least to lose by so just they see themselves in them.
So let's just explore that a minute. So are you saying, Greg, that that Manny cares least about you because you might get them into trouble?
No, I'm thinking that Manny's criminal background.
Oh, sorry.
So when Maddie looks at me and she goes, for somebody to be as broken as I am, therefore I must have been a criminal or have had criminal intent in the past. So she's making an assumption that Greg is at the bottom of his barrel and therefore would do anything.
Okay.
So, you don't trust somebody that's hopeless.
Okay, so Manny just doesn't trust you. Yeah? Because
Oh yeah.
I can go with that.
yeah, you go with that, Manny? Elroy, who do you care least about?
Gang up on him, but Greg.
Greg,
Yes.
why does it could be the same reason? Why does Elroy care least about you?
I think because the job is to make sure that people get things done on, and and our crew is basically flying around with baling wire and duct tape. I constantly seem like I'm coming down on the chief engineer, even though I'm just trying to keep things going. But he sees it as me basically picking on him.
Okay. Can you run with that, Elroy?
Mm-hmm.
And finally, Maud. Who matters least to you? Who do you care least about?
Elroy.
Elroy. Why doesn't Maud like you? Everybody likes you.
Okay. Why does Maud not like me? I think I kind of see through her, and I see her as untrustable or dishonest, right?
Ooh. Trust issues, Maud. That 1,000-yard stare of yours clearly is not going down well with Elroy.
I can work with that.
I'll tell you now that those have no mechanical weight, but they have as much fictional weight as you want to give them. Yeah. When it comes to seeking relief from the horror, fictionally, you'd be in a better position taking stuff out on someone that you don't care about than somebody you do care about. Yeah? Okay.
Well, and also, this doesn't mean she's untrustworthy. It just means Elroy doesn't trust her.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. Yeah. Yeah, this is not a description of the character. This is a description of a perception of the character. Yeah. Finally, and then we'll take a brief break. You will start play with, as it says here, what you stand up in under equipment. A bag, a knapsack of some kind, a personal data transmitter with an ID built into a key card that gives you access to those bits of the ship that are appropriate. As ship's crew, you have access to the entire ship apart from Mother. Mother is the mainframe computer which only Emily, the captain, has access to. But your key cards will get you anywhere else on the ship. You'll also see that each of you has something unique to you in your locker. That's your personal locker. This is the ship's locker. This is not something that you necessarily have with you all the time. For instance, Greg has a sidearm in his locker. The rules of space say you must not wear a sidearm on a ship, on a commercial ship, unless it is issued by the captain. There is a sidearm in the ship's locker, but only the captain has access to the ship's locker. Yeah? Manny, you have an illegal multi-key. That will get you places that your ordinary key card will not get you. Yeah? Or it gives you an option to use it as the right tool to do things. Elroy, you've got those heavy coveralls and gloves. I don't know whether you choose to wear those all the time or whether they just stay in your personal locker for those occasions where you've got particularly shitty work to do. Mm-hmm. And unsurprisingly, I suppose, Maud, as well as having access to the med bay, because as the science officer, you're also expected to act as the crew medic. You have your own med kit, as well as whatever equipment there is in the med bay. Okay, so that is our starting setup. I think that probably we will see, opening scene. We see the planet Fiorina 161. Cloudy, complex weather patterns, high winds. It's circling the binary Fiorina 16A and 16B. So light is not great. These two dwarf stars illuminate it. And I'll tell you now that it tends to spin quickly. So night and day can last for, it spins slowly but orbits quickly. So night and day can last for quite a long time, subjectively. And I guess that we'll see that kind of flashing green cursor on the screen that is traditional at the start of an alien movie that says ... USCSS Lake, en route Fiorina 161. Intention, survey, mothballed, or processing plant, beep. Shall we say, let's have a decent break at this point, and shall we say we'll be back in our seats at 1:15? Yeah?
That's good.
Hope to see you then. we'll just give Glitch a mo. Okay. So we cut to the bridge of the lake. The screens at the front are, showing the planet. Exec, what's your normal process for planetary atmospheric entry?
Technically, I'm the pilot, but the captain pretty much always flies. So my job is I'm running through the checklist of things that we're supposed to have when we actually land. So probably at this point I'm probably yelling a list of instructions at Elroy about how we're going to offload the vehicle once we get there. Is it properly strapped down? That sort of thing.
Well, I mean, it's strapped with all the ones that they had, right? It would have nice to have been 6 straps, but there's only 3 on this ship, so,
Well, that's why we have somebody like you to make do with 3. You've always been able to make do with 3, so basically check. So what you're saying is check. All right, now let's move to the next one on the list. Is it fueled? And
yeah.
That's
No. Jimmy checked the fuel. We're good on that. The only concern is getting off. It looks like one of the the atmospheric thrusters is a little warbly, so we might have to look at that when we land. But yeah, other than that, we're good.
Okay. So it sounds like we're actually staying on top of this. As long as Jimmy keeps doing what you say Jimmy's going to do, then we're going to be okay.
Yeah, I'm watching him.
Good, because, you should.
Manny, you need to plot an appropriate course, and already you're getting readouts suggesting those weather patterns. We're talking about high wind. We're talking about lots of dust in the atmosphere. So I think, Manny, I need you to just make a roll to do something else, i.e. to get you down without scratching the paintwork. So you're going to roll the white dice, because you always do.
Okay.
This is definitely inside your expertise as the navigator. So at the minute you're rolling the white dice and the orange dice. Do you want to include your stress dice at this point?
At the moment, no.
Okay, so re-roll those 2 dice.
I'm feeling confident. Feeling confident.
Good, of course you
are.
are.
Unwarranted, but feeling it.
You've got the certificates for this stuff. One of them isn't even forged.
Yes. Did that actually re-roll or not?
I'm sorry, I wasn't looking.
Oh, shit.
Do you want to go again?
Okay. Okay.
And therefore, your best result, if you go to the core rules page, do something else, what's your best die?
5.
You succeed with no obvious complication or benefit. So course is laid in. Emily is coasting in on that, and we'll see that kind of 3-dimensional image on showing the terrain coming up, and there's going to be showing the site of the ore processing plant, and it's about the only thing that's live down there is the beacon that is indicating where the landing pad in the middle of the complex is. Greg, Emily looks like she's drifting. There's a flight path and she's kind of just edging very close to one of those dotted lines. What do you do?
I kind of lean over and I go, showing off again? I would just put it straight down the middle. Basically, so just trying to get her attention back by making a sarcastic comment to snap her back into reality.
Now, your expertise is less in convince and more in scare the living bejesus out of.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just, it's low stakes at this point in the game. Let's just see what effect rolling the white dice has, unless you want to put your stress dice in.
What would happen if things go wrong?
If things go wrong, you could end up having to come down away from because that's what you're worried about. The beacon is pretty old, and so the coordinates that Manny's laid in is a pretty tight line through these weather patterns, the terrain, and then of course there are these enormous multi-story pieces of machinery and pipework and cooling towers. So there's not a lot of leeway in this one.
Okay, so I'll go with white.
Okay, roll the dice. Let's see what happens.
3.
So, rolling to do something else. 1 to 3, you barely succeed, and the GM may exact a cost or offer you a hard choice. I think that this reminds you of all too many seat of the pants landing, putting the platoon down in that clearing, and just getting a little bit too close to the jungle. And this thing is like 300 meters long. This is not a dropship. So I think the cost is going to be you're going to get stressed.
Okay.
Or you could allow her to fail.
No, I'll take it.
Okay, so mark stress.
Yep. I got it.
And she kind of says, "Oh shit, you're such a bore." And she just nudges it right, and there's a kind of buffet as she overcorrects, and finally you're coming in close. What's Evelyn? Maud, you're sat with Evelyn at the back of the bridge in the crash couches for the non-immediate crew. What's Evelyn doing? The EDI rep.
Consulting whatever personal information she has. She's got her head buried in her tablet equivalent.
Do you try to break the ice? Because, you've just come out of cryosleep, so you've not had much time with her. Your first impressions were that she was a bitch.
No, I don't think I do try to break the ice.
And she'll look over up from her data tablet, which probably looks like, a 1989 HP laptop. So it's, it weighs 1.5 kilos, 2 kilos, and it's, 1.5 inches thick. And she says, is it always, because you're kind of buffeting, is it always this rough?
When you're working with top of the line equipment like we are, yeah, it's always this rough.
Shit. And then she goes back to, and she's just, making a note of some stuff. Elroy, you're down the engineering decks. There are 2 engineering decks below the life support deck. And they are enormous. The scale of these things are almost cathedral-like. They're probably 100 meters across. They're probably 20 meters high. You're on the first engineering deck, the one immediately below, and Jimmy's watching the shop down below that in the lower deck. And so, you're both strapped in. You've got comms. Jimmy's a bit skittish. What do we hear Jimmy saying as the buffeting sets in?
Yeah, so Jimmy's kind of like, are you sure that those atmosphere thrusters are working? Back at school they said you needed 3 working ones to land this thing.
Let's see how that's going, Elroy. This is doing something else with expertise. So it's the white and the orange dice. Do you want to include the stress dice at this point?
No.
Okay, roll the 2 dice.
Jimmy's skittish, so I don't know what he's scared about, right?
Of course.
Not enough life experience for this guy. Anyway, how do you select 2 at the same time? Just
click one, then click the other one.
Got it. So white and orange.
White and orange.
4.
Okay, so on a 4, you're okay. You're well within tolerances, and I think probably Jimmy is reassured by his boss. And then there's that kind of sense of G forces changing as you come through the atmosphere, and you put down with a bit of a kind of.
Now, thrusters can't make up for a crappy landing like that, but
Greg, it was drowned out by the power of the beacon on the landing pad, but you're getting another automated signal from somewhere else in the complex. What do you do?
I actually I try to figure out what's going on. So I reach out and try to figure out who the appropriate person is. So I guess I yell at Elroy, assuming that he's got a beacon that's out of line. So tell what one of your machines is out of compliance.
Wait, what? For the beacon?
Yeah.
Say this again?
I said we got more than one beacon transmission coming in right now. So I'm assuming you're doing something.
Yeah. Let me check on that. Okay. I'll get back to you. And so I come back and I'm like, everything looks good on our end. You sure the beacons are fully functional down there? Going back to Greg. Yeah. Oh, here's my reply. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that he says it's not him, then I'll try to zoom in on what's going on with that other beacon.
Okay. Again, I'm not sure that I think you have pilot expertise, so I think that is relevant to try and just. Is this just some kind of weak reflection of all this heavy plant, or is it real? So let's have you roll with expertise. Will you put your stress dice in?
No, not yet.
Okay.
All right, 4.
There is indeed another beacon out there. It's as far as you can tell, it's about 200 yards away. In what the plans that you've been given suggest is an open space between 2 great chunks. Each of the bits of this refinery are the size of a football field. Whether that's your football field or my football field, they're big. and between 2 of these great chunks of processing, cooling towers, tubing, piping, gantries, and another bit is an open space, and there's a kind of beep, 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 beep coming from there.
I yell for Evelyn because
and Evelyn does not come in a hurry.
Mm-hmm. So
there'll be that kind of tap 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 of her heels as she makes her way from the back end of the bridge to where your duty station is, and she says, "What do you want?"
I point at the 2 beacons on the screen. I said, "Your mission information. There should only be a single beacon. What's the other beacon?"
And she goes to the tower. She says, "There is only one beacon. This is the landing beacon. That's what this is for."
Then I point at one beacon, and then I point at the other beacon.
Well, there must be something wrong with your equipment. This place has not been active for 2 years.
point at which one is the proper one.
Well, the one nearest is the one we just landed on, obviously. Or is that, am I not qualified to say?
No, you're not, but I'm still asking you.
Now, just hang on.
No. Right now, we've got 2 beacons out there. Are they both yours, or is one of the 2 of them yours? Do you have any way of tracking it down?
Look, landing beacon. It says landing beacon here. We landed on the landing beacon. I don't know what that is.
The other one that says also landing beacon?
I don't know. I mean, it's not in the specs. What can I tell you?
Okay, so improper specs. Got it.
Jesus. Tap, 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 tap. She sits down next to Maud and says, is he just rude to me or rude to everyone? Oh, you're muted. Oh.
It's not just you.
We got the point.
Jeez, he's a jerk. What do I know about beacons? Fucking beacons. What are you going to do? Greg, you spotted it.
I'm going to keep an eye on it for now. So it's a couple football fields away. So it's quarter of a mile away potentially from it. It looks the same as the one that we've got. I'm going
Not
to
entirely true. It is much weaker.
Okay. Would it be something that would be like a recovery beacon for a vehicle or something like that?
It could be. That's not a bad guess.
My first thought is we should check it out because there could be somebody on the other end of that beacon that's looking for assistance.
What do you do with that first thought?
I tell Emily that I think that we should take the crawler or the vehicle out there, just take a quick spin over by what it is, make sure it's not somebody that's looking for assistance before we head in.
I was just wondering if you're for our contract, does checking out extra beacons does that give us a bigger payout?
And I look at him and I go, if you're ever lost and your beacon is going off, do you want somebody to ask that question?
Well, maybe we check the beacon. Maybe we check the beacon later, right? Maybe we first make sure we get the job done.
So you're sure they'll be fine.
Well, how long have they been out there? Right. This place has been mothballed for how long?
2 years.
At this point, I almost lose it because this is, as somebody that has been, on the other end of that beacon, I get in your face and I go, just get in the damn truck.
I think that's you're looking to intimidate Greg. This is going to be tricky. Elroy back into line. So let's have you roll with expertise, because intimidation is your stock in trade.
May I ask a question?
Yeah,
of course.
Insofar as the recovery beacon, would that only be activated if there was an issue with the ship, or might it just be the case even if the ship is just there? I'm wondering if Manny might think it's a salvage operation possibly going on.
It is perfectly possible that that this is a beacon that's been activated to allow other people to find that spot.
So,
and in fact, Manny, you would probably switch your ship's beacon on once the crew sets out to begin to explore and survey this plant, so they can always kind of say, "Oh God, which way is back? Oh, that way."
Mm-hmm. Greg, it could be a salvage job.
Could be.
So if we're going, we probably want to make sure that we're prepared, because they're not going to be happy.
That's a good point. So I got a 4 to get Elroy in line, and I figure you actually got you got a good point. So let's make sure that we're stocked up just in case we run into, if we brush up against somebody else.
And then Emily leans in to you, Greg, and says, look, we are on a tight schedule here. Look, I don't mind somebody checking out that beacon as part of the survey, but you and I both know we don't have any tolerance here. We could lose the ship. So look, look, let's do this the old-fashioned way. Divide people up in twos. Let's get them working, and whoever is heading for that bit of the plant, they can check it out.
Mm-hmm. All right, boss. If that's what you say, I'm okay with that.
Well, look, we can't afford this to go wrong. We can't afford for this to take too long.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I kind of cow. It's one of those where, all right, this is, as long as it gets done.
So, exec, how do you split people up in order to start doing the survey then?
Or question: Are we all planning on leaving the vessel, or are some planning on leaving the vessel?
Well, mechanically, if you all go in a group, or if one of you goes, it will take a long time to survey this plant. Mm-hmm. If you divide your way up and do different bits of it, you'll get it done quicker. If you have a look at the schematics tab, you will see that I've kind of divided the plant into 3 areas. Let's just see if we do that. Yeah, okay. So you land not far from the mothballed living quarters.
Okay.
It overlooks the smelter. Yeah, down here. And then there are these 3 football field size chunks of refinery located, let's call them north, central, and south. Yeah.
Okay.
And so what the contract requires is for you to find, to complete a survey of all 5 of these areas. And each shift, 8-hour shift that you spend in that area will get to roll this special move for survey. When you survey an area of the refinery, roll d6, blah, blah, blah. So, if you split up, you could cover a lot of ground. If you do this in a group, it's going to take you a lot of shifts.
I think I would probably split 2-2-2 and do 3 teams. That would be my first inclination. But this is also one of those where who on the ship would probably be our salvage specialist for something like this?
I think probably your chief engineer.
Okay, chief engineer. All right, I go Elroy. Here, I map it out. I go, here are the areas that we've got. We've got 5 areas. You know the resources that we have. I'm thinking 2-2-2 and do 3 shifts, and then so we can get it done in 2 8-hour chunks. What are you thinking?
I like that. I like that a lot.
Are there any in particular that we should be concerned about right away?
Obviously the refinery is the most important area. The living quarters, we could probably, if things got tight, gloss over that. So I would hit the refineries first.
I think that's a good idea. And then, that'd probably be the best way of going about it. Now, for teams, are there any particular pieces of equipment that we're going to have to use that people are going to have better roles on? For mechanics.
Yeah, fine. So if you check that schematics tab again, you'll see that the ship's locker contains a motion tracker, a cutting torch, a bolt gun, a service pistol, an incinerator unit, and a spare power pack.
Okay.
There are also 2 walkie-talkies and EVA suits for a member of the crew. But you don't need EVA here. You just need a parka and a kind of something to cover your mouth because of the dust in the atmosphere.
Then I'm thinking that we actually should, for the first group, let's do 2 groups then, because we have 2 walkie-talkies, and then the second time we can split up to 3 groups, and one can be at the mothball ship, and we could use the ship for that one.
So I'm seeing this conversation going on in the kitchen, where you're sat round the big circular table in the centre of the space,
Yep.
with coffee and a meal before you get on with this. Evelyn is sat slightly to one side, picking at food. But the crew, U7, are sat around the table, and Greg is laying out the way to come at this. What do you make of that, Maud? Does that make sense to you?
I'm going to try to discreetly say to Greg that I don't think it's a great idea to leave the EDI rep alone on the ship.
Yeah, I think the EDI rep's going to have to do a shift on this. I think everybody's going to have to get their hands dirty and their feet wet.
Does Evelyn hear you suggest that?
Evelyn does not hear what I say.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think she probably hears my response, but doesn't necessarily know it's directed at her.
Okay, fine. Anybody else got a view?
Yeah, I want to make sure that Maud's paired up with the right people. I kind of tell this to Greg.
Well, look, you're all round the table,
Okay.
So
okay.
So
I don't feel like
who's
your
the right
feelings about me are a secret.
Maud, how about you pair up with me? I'll show you the ropes.
Thanks. You're a priest.
The other question I have is, who here would I perceive as being able to handle themselves if things go weird? I would assume that Maud can. So I'm assuming Maud can, between Maud and Elroy, even though Elroy is probably quote unquote physically tougher, I think because Maud has a military background, that I could see her. That would be a good breakup. And I guess what I'll do is I will go with Manny, me. Let's. I think can you guys go with Evelyn, and we'll take Jimmy. So we have an engineer on both groups. And we'll leave Emily here to do the paperwork on the ship right now, and then we can rope her in next time. So I have a service pistol in my locker, so I will take one of those. Make sure that Maud gets one of the others.
Now, hang on, says Emily. Yeah. What? You're going loaded for bear. This is a survey job.
Yes.
Look, Greg. The war is over.
You know that. I know that. Other people don't necessarily know that. We're taking a sidearm. We're not exactly taking a minigun in there.
Okay. I'll release the sidearm to Maud.
Mm-hmm. I thought the sidearm was in mine.
Oh, there is a sidearm in. There's your sidearm. Your personal gun is in your locker. The ship's locker has another pistol.
Got it. Okay. So we'll release it to Maud. Each team will take a walkie-talkie. I'm assuming the bolt gun and cutting torch are probably tools. So either Jimmy would get one and Elroy would get the other. So I don't necessarily know if we need.
This would be a good time to think about the equipment bit of your character sheet. Yeah. So if you'll see that there's a load of equipment down the bottom. Some of it comes with a set, the motion tracker comes with 4 boxes. Yeah. So if you have the motion tracker, you can use it 4 times before it needs to be recharged. Yeah. The binoculars you can use as many times as you like. And you'll see that each piece of equipment comes with either 1, 2, or 3 little black boxes. That is the number of equipment slots it takes up. And those equipment slots, you have 6 of them. The first 2, and you are still lightly encumbered and can move quickly. You take up to another 2 to get a total of 4 slots filled, and you are, you're not fast. You go above that in terms of what you carry, and you get slow. So as you're talking about this, it would be helpful, I think, if you just, filled in what you're carrying. So what I'm hearing is that I just think, have I lost what? Oh no, there's walkie-talkies. So Greg, you've got a walkie-talkie which takes up 1 equipment slot, and your sidearm takes up another. So you would then mark the first 2. You are still quick. Yeah. Yep. Who's Emily going to issue that second pistol to? Maud. She trusts Maud. Maud's logical. She's not hot-headed. She's a safe pair of hands. So Maud, you would go down and find service pistol, and mark the box.
I'm assuming one of you would have the walkie, since we'll have that.
Who's with Maud? I've forgotten.
Elroy and Evelyn, and then then it's myself, Manny, and Jimmy.
Okay, so
I'll take the walkie-talkie. I think that Elroy should probably be handling the heavier equipment.
What you've got? Whatever you've got, heavy coveralls and gloves if you want to wear them. And
wasn't there some cutting torch or something? Wasn't there?
There's a welding torch, cutting torch.
Yeah. So which ones of these can I select? We don't have all of these, right?
No. The only thing you've got is what's in your personal locker and what's in the ship's locker. And the ship's locker, motion tracker, cutting torch, which you just mentioned, bolt gun, the service pistol's gone to Maud, there's an incinerator unit, a power pack, and 2 walkie-talkies.
Okay. I mean, I guess the power pack, just use that for my cutting torch, right?
So what that would do, the cutting torch comes with 4 uses, as I remember, 4 little boxes underneath.
Yep.
What the power pack does is to allow you to recharge that after use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take the power pack if that's okay.
Okay.
Is that in the list?
I think it is.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
I must at some point make that alphabetical. It would be much simpler, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
What's the incinerator unit? Is that like a flamethrower?
Yeah, it's used for delousing engineering. Really, it's to take out rats and other infestations.
I think that can probably stay on the ship for now.
Can I take some uppers? That's what I've usually used to get stuff done out on the frontier.
They're in the med bay.
So I would have to get access to them first.
You would have to, because they'd be issued by the science medical officer.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm seeing Maud with the walkie-talkie and the sidearm. I'm seeing Elroy with the cutting torch and nothing else, or the power pack. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the power pack as well.
So both of you would fill in the first 2 boxes on the equipment track. Yeah.
And maybe you have Evelyn carry the med kit or something, because no, you want to carry the med kit.
Well, that will take another equipment slot, Maud.
Do we feel like we'll need the med kit?
You tell me.
I mean, you never know.
I'd rather have the med kit and not need it.
Yeah. Where yeah. I asked Maud if Maud, on these jobs, the quicker you get it done, the more money you make, and uppers, they call them. They say uppers built the frontier, right? They say it for a reason.
We're going to have to pull 2 shifts. If I give you uppers now, you'll crash with the second shift.
Okay, it might be useful. They might be useful. We'll talk about the second. We'll talk for the second shift.
Okay. How would you feel about Evelyn carrying the power pack?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
So, is Elroy carrying the med kit then?
Elroy's carrying the walkie-talkie. I'm taking.
Oh, you're going to keep the med kit. Okay, fine. Okay. What about Manny? What do you need for this job, Manny?
Because of the whole beacon thing, I'm thinking that I'm going to want to take the motion tracker just in case there is another group trying to salvage.
Smart.
Yeah. Well, you'll find that up at the top. Yeah. And anything else?
Yeah, the multi-key, the illegal multi-key.
Okay. Well, the nice thing about the multi-key is that I think I made it weightless because it's just a small thing. Oh no, I didn't. I made it one. There you go. What a bastard. Okay.
And I figure, and we'll have Jimmy carry the bolt gun just so he has something in case we run into a bulkhead or something.
Okay, so I'll just put bolt gun next to Jimmy, and we gave Evel. Oops, Daisy. Bolt gun, and we gave Evelyn the walkie-talkie, didn't we?
Power pack.
Power pack. Sorry. Okay. And Emily will just mind the shop.
Yep.
Yeah.
And watch the incinerator in case we need it.
Okay. How suspicious do people get? So let's have. What do I see, Manny? Because you're with Greg and Jimmy. And are you heading to the bit of the refinery that is that has the beacon? I've marked it with an orange dot.
I think that's us.
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing that because if it turns out it is, I feel like I would be the one who is most able to try to talk them into like just shove off, just go. Okay,
and you've got the motion tracker. Yeah, okay. So Manny, what? Just give me a kind of what kind of shot do we see? We see you both the teams come down the kind of ramp at the back of the lake. The wind is high. There's grit. It's kind of you've got goggles and a face mask of some description on. Describe what we see as you peel off to go one way, leaving the other team to go the other way.
It's just seems like it's not really a town, but like kind of weirdly dead. And there's like the wind's going, there's like the vegetation that was mentioned before, and it's kind of eerie. It has that sort of liminal space feel.
Yeah, absolutely. These great looming towers of machinery and piping and the wind's moving through it. It's probably kind of there's a woo going on among the general wind noise. That sounds a bit freaky. Manny, would you roll for stress, please? So when you roll for stress, all you do is you roll the green dice. And if the green dice comes up higher than your current stress goes up by 1. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So I think in your case, anything but a 1, and it goes up by 1.
2. There we go.
Increase stress by 1. Greg, this, you got a bad feeling about this. Would you roll for stress, please?
Sure.
Me.
4. It's up by 1.
Whoa. Walking the edge.
Yep.
Elroy, which bit of the plant are you heading for?
Yeah, we'll go to refinery 2.
Okay. So again, there's that, this shadowy. The wind is making gantries vibrate, so there's kind of where stuff's come loose over the last couple of years. There's kind of bang, 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 bang as some pipe is being hit by some loose piece of material. That seems pretty freaky. Would you roll for stress, please?
Yeah, this place is in worse shape than they realize. So 6, bam.
Increase stress by 1. Maud, you left the service to avoid places like this. Would you roll for stress, please?
One.
Oh.
But Maud is looking pretty cool under pressure.
Mute.
Oh,
Mute.
thank you. Maud's looking pretty cool under pressure. I am curious, Elroy, how does Elroy manifest stress? How does the viewing public, when we see him making his way through this place, how do we know that he is stressed?
I will say he has a nervous tick that manifests.
Would you put that on the character sheet? I can build on that later.
All right.
Similarly, Maud. Maud stayed cool as a cucumber. Manny, how do we know that Manny, because we're cutting back between the two teams, I think. How do we know, how does Manny react under stress? How do we know that Manny's stressed?
She starts getting very, not distractible, but more hypervigilant. She starts looking around more.
Yeah. Okay. So
kind of
yeah.
Where something might go wrong.
Fine. Hypervigilant is a really cool manifestation. So she's every time there's a kind of bang, or constantly looking over her shoulder. What about Greg? How does stress manifest for Greg?
When he's wearing his sidearm, his hand kind of hovers over his sidearm. And when he is not, his hand hovers where his sidearm would be.
Fine. Safety on, safety off, safety on, safety off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. And so that's what we're seeing then as you make your way in. Jimmy, we know, is skittish. And Jimmy just talks and talks. And he'll call you boss, Greg. And he says, look, boss, this... Oh, I got a bad feeling about this. This is freaky place.
I go, Jimmy, there's a time and place to have bad feelings about things. This place is warranted.
And then he looks at your hand hovering over your sidearm. And he says, sure, boss, sure. Evelyn has changed out of her business suit into an immaculate set of coveralls. Which are probably luminous yellow, and they have EDI in large friendly letters on the back, and she is just bitching, Maud. She's barely had a word to say to anyone else. She's at least talked to you, and she says, you think, don't you, junior exec for acquisitions? Does that sound like what I'm doing now? Does it? Really? What's your name? Jeez. Maud. Yeah. Let's start with those of you heading towards the beacon. Yeah? Now, yep. There's a rule for surveying this place, because Emily's instructions are survey on your way to the beacon. Is that what you do, Greg? Or do you just beeline for the beacon?
Oh, I think we definitely survey. Well, it depends. How long does it take to survey on the way to the beacon?
Well, how long's a piece of string? I want some sense of whether you're beelining for the beacon or are you doing the job on the way.
Now we're doing the job on the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the special move is survey. When you survey an area of the refinery, roll 1d6. Add 1d6 if what you're doing benefits from the expertise in the team. Yeah? And I think you said you took Jimmy for that.
Yep.
Yeah? Another d6 if you're using the right tool. Is there anything you're carrying that that would kind of allow you to have the benefit of that tool?
I think the motion detector probably, in order to see motion, it kind of identifies structures and stuff.
Okay, I'll give you that one. So, given it's the motion detector that's doing the work here, Manny, would you like to roll with expertise and with the grey right tool dice, please? So 3 dice. Would you like to include the stress dice, Manny? Just asking, just curious.
Yeah. Not quite yet.
Okay. Go with the 3 dice.
Currently trusting in the equipment.
Okay.
There we go. Ooh. 6.
Oh, six.
6 is the highest.
6. 4+. Add 1 to the survey findings. So you've notched up. I'm just going to put an X next to refinery area 1. You have completed part of the survey, but you'll notice it says 6. What do you find that is disturbing, Manny? You're not at the beacon yet, I stress.
Could have sworn that there's something. Maybe something moved. Not sure.
That hypervigilance is
like
paying
something.
off, Manny. Because you're using the motion tracker, at which point actually you need to mark one of the motion tracker boxes as the power begins to run down. But and there was just for a moment, there was that kind of beep, 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 and it was almost like it was moving towards you and then it's gone. But to be honest, there is so much heavy metal around here that the motion tracker at any range is not telling you a lot. But I think that's enough to make you roll for stress. So the green dice.
I've discovered you can drag it by accident. Okay. 1.
How surprisingly cool Manny is. Do you rationalize it, Manny? Was it just a bang, 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 the machine's playing up?
Yeah, just like, that's weird. Cleared up. Must be nothing.
Okay. Let's go to the other team. Elroy, you certainly have expertise here. Is there anything the team's carrying that would give you the right tool for this survey job?
Or a survey, so we got the cutting torch, the walkie-talkie. Maud, I don't think has anything. What does Evelyn have? She just has the power pack.
That's right.
So, most I could do this is we're not saying splitting up, but I'm leveraging my team. I've done this before, so I'm leveraging the team to do things efficiently.
Okay, so that is the white dice and the orange dice, because
All right.
I don't think the tool plays in. You have expertise.
Right.
Do you want to include the stress dice?
Yeah, I want to get this done. You know what I'm saying? Time is money.
Go for it. 3 dice.
Let's see. Bam. Okay, I got a 3, but my stress dice was a 1.
Oh, so the stress dice is lower than the highest dice, so we ignore the stress dice. On a 3, you kind of cover the ground, but you will look, the specification says in refinery area 2, you should find X, Y, and Z, the more valuable bits.
You got a 3? I thought you got a 5.
Oh, yeah, I've just seen a 5.
No, so I rolled. I see a 1 green, 3 white, 2 orange. It wasn't updating. The other people's aren't updating for me. I don't know if
Yeah, same.
Roll for
It
your
doesn't
party.
update.
Roll for your
Same.
party is having the odd glitch. What I'm going to do, I'm going to refresh.
Okay.
And I think I see a 5.
I mean, okay, now I refreshed and see a 5. I see a 1, 5, 2.
I tell you what, you may want to, when you've reroll selected, you might want to hit refresh.
Okay.
Because clearly something is funny is going on with Roll for your party at the moment.
Okay.
So at 5, you find some of what you're looking for. In this part of the refinery, the spec says that there ought to be a kind of control hub. And so you have successfully, on a 4+, you add 1 to the survey findings. So that's fine. So that's, that's a decent shift's work for you. But
and I'm like, oh, they got a Cygnus X1 unit up here. These things are awesome. Oh, God, I haven't seen one of these for ages.
Because what EDI want to know is all the decent tech that's in the specification, is it actually here? So that's good for you. Let's cut to the other team as they approach the beacon. And what I'll tell you is that as you come around the side of a cooling tower into this open space that the specification suggests is there is a small shuttle sitting in this space, not a landing pad, and that is where the beacon is kind of beep, beep, beep. And because we have to have a visual, there's even a little red light on the belly going beep, beep, beep. What do you do?
What kind of shuttle is it? Does it look like commercial, military?
Oh, certainly not military. Beaten up. It's a crew of maybe 3 or 4, limited duration. This is for short hops, not the kind of big deep space missions. It could get to this planet, it could get home, but it's not equipped for months in space the way you are.
I look over and I just say, what are you thinking? Competition?
Yeah. I think that we've got a small team, but another team. I'm not sure where they'd be heading back to, but...
I don't know about you, but if I was here and I was competing and I was trying to do this subtly, I wouldn't turn the beacon on.
Sometimes it's so that you don't get lost within the place. If you're not really familiar with the area and the schematics, you're just going in kind of blind. You don't always have all of the information you need.
Want to see if we can get in?
Yeah.
Very conveniently, the ramp at the rear of the shuttle is open. The ramp is down.
I actually take the sidearm out. I keep it to my side. I'm not brandishing it around, threatening. I keep it to my side, and I kind of just want to casually lean across just to look into the ramp, just to see I'm not walking into something.
You can see the loading bay. It looks like it's powered down, so it's gone to emergency lights. So there's just that kind of green light in there. And yeah, you can see some material, some bits of, some panels, some control panels, have been stacked, but it could take a lot more.
I look over and I go, you want to fire up that motion detector and see if anything's moving around inside just before we start moving in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just see if anything's close.
Mark another box on the power of the motion detector, and in you go, Manny. Yeah, because you need to be out front with this, or you'll get all kinds of crap from them.
If Manny's got both hands on that device, I draw and I keep the sidearm. So at least I give I want to give Manny some comfort knowing that I've got her, covered.
And Jimmy says, "Okay, I'll just watch here."
Jimmy, you make sure nobody walks in on us.
Oh yeah, no. If I see anything, I'll come and get you, boss. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got absolute confidence in Jimmy.
Elroy, Maud,
hear
what kind of communication are you keeping up with the other team? Are you checking in at intervals?
I think so. Like, as we're checking things off that we're supposed to find, we're telling the other team that we found them.
And you've got the walkie, haven't you? The walkie-talkie, Maud.
I think so.
Yeah. So now would be a good time to check because you just found the Cygnus, didn't you? Yeah.
Sure.
As you're making your way into the loading bay of the shuttle, there's a kind of "Hi there, it's Maud." Over.
I grab and turn the volume way down. And I pull it up and I go, "Acknowledged."
Maud, what do you do with that tone of voice? I know Greg's not known to be chatty, but...
I tell Elroy, like, Greg's acting a little weird. Should we go check or just keep doing our thing over here?
Yeah, I think weird is kind of the standard protocol for Greg and Emily. If you witness that landing, performance. So, I think we'll check up on them when they get back to the ship.
So
8 hours is a long time. But yeah, we'll check back.
So are you're gonna finish your sweep and head back to the ship? Yeah? Okay. Because this is towards the end of the end of the shift, because they said they'd get to the beacon when they'd done a decent day's work.
Right.
So Manny, what's your reaction when that kind of goes off and Greg's kind of acknowledged?
Kind of just like fuck, but trying to keep her voice quiet, and it's just like.
Let me stress at this point, I'm very happy. You can always tell me when you want to roll for stress. I will make you roll for stress sometimes, but if you feel that your character would, and I haven't suggested it, go ahead. So, Manny, there's this loading bay. It's probably about 20, 30 yards deep, 20 yards wide, 10 yards high, and there's a set of steps up to a gantry, which presumably leads to the kind of life support section at the front. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I think I need you to roll to investigate at this point, Manny, because I think that is what you're trying to do. Now, roll to investigate, again, white die. Do you have expertise that might be relevant here?
If there's anybody that knows how to case a joint, I would assume it would be that.
That's kind of where I'm going with that. It's like, it kind of knows what to expect on this type of this ship.
Yeah, I think larceny will count in this context. So you're with expertise, and I think that it's relevant to say that the motion tracker gives you the right tool for the job. Do you want to include your stress dice?
I kind of feel like narratively starting to get stressed. So yeah, they're gonna.
I do love a story gamer. Roll all 4 dice. With 4 dice, how can this possibly go badly?
I can't think of a single. Oh wait. Whoa. 6 for right tool. Did that come up for everyone else?
You better hit, I think you might have to hit refresh, because I'm seeing 3s, 2s, and 1s.
No.
Muted. You're muted.
Oh, sorry.
No, now I'm seeing 3, 3, 2,
3.
1.
Yeah, for some reason, when I reloaded, it was 3, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
That's why I checked, because my previous roll had been 6. That's why I'm like, did it come up as 6?
Yeah,
So-
it's really behaving a bit freaky. I feel I should roll for
Yeah.
stress. So the best outcome here is a 3. So what it says for investigate,
Right.
1 to 3, you get the bare minimum amount of information you need to proceed, but also mark the risk clock. Now, we haven't talked about the risk clock yet. So far, you have investigated 2 locations. So on the character sheet, you will find that there's the stages: passive, active, search, and assault. This reflects the state of any aliens. They're currently passive. You've done 2 areas, so I'm going to mark 2 of those boxes. And now you're going to mark another one, Manny. Yeah? Because maybe, concentrating on the bloody motion tracker, and maybe you trip and there's a clang as your foot comes down heavily on the gantry. So the basic information you need to proceed is that there is something moving beyond that door to the living quarters. And at that point, we'll take a 5-minute break. Shall we be back in our seats at... can we do it in 4, 20 past the hour?
Okay.
See you in 4.
Yep.
Okay. Let's cut back as you approach the pad that will just open that door. Let's cut back to Elroy and Maud and Evelyn. Emily comes on the walkie-talkie, Maud, and she says, you guys are back quick. You're muted.
I think we're on time. Why? Did we beat Greg back?
No, I just heard you coming up the ramp. Hang on, I'll just go and check. What do you do, Maud?
I say... I shout, wait. What happens?
No, hang on. It must be Greg. Maybe his radio's off. I'll try him. And then you hear a scream. Let's cut back to the shuttle. Manny, you're at the door entry. What do you do?
All right. So they go to sort of off to the side, just in case if it's like a fire first situation, it'll go through the door, not them. And then it's just like, look, might be time to cut your losses. EDI is here. We're not getting paid to recover shit. We're just here to see what's left. So you can take everything you have, engage thrusters. We don't have to see each other again. That easy. Make your payday. We're good.
And there is something literally a few steps on the other side of that door. Beep, 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 beep. What do you do, Manny?
Just so we're clear, it's not that we can't actually defend ourselves here. So,
I would like to radio Greg to tell him about what I just heard.
Okay.
Right about now.
Volume's turned down still.
So, it goes,
You can't hear anything?
so Maud, you've just radioed Greg and there's nothing coming back. Roll for stress. Shit, Emily screamed, Greg's gone. Christ.
4.
Increase your stress by 1. How does stress manifest for Maud?
Some small repetitive motion that I can't figure out right now.
Okay.
Probably
Yeah.
something like...
Okay, yeah, fine. Repetitive tick. Yeah. Elroy, you've flown enough with Maud, and you don't dislike her, and she looks a little bit just tweaked.
Yeah.
And Evelyn saying, what, which, what?
Yeah, so Emily, we probably need to get back to this ship ASAP. And you have that sidearm?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. I'm thinking we'll probably want to maybe circumnavigate the ship, right? Maybe if there's a vantage point, we can check it from afar to see what's going on.
You don't think we should find Greg?
I mean, it's either Greg or the ship, right? If we find Greg and no ship, we're screwed.
Ship is closer, because you went in different directions, of course.
I think if we can secure the ship, then we can get Greg.
Okay. Lead on.
All right. So, go on.
No, go on.
Yeah. So, I want to get to. Is there a place that we could get a good vantage point of the ship? Right. If
It's going to
people
take
are-
you.
yeah.
It's going to take you a little, more than the next 30 seconds to get there. So I'm going to cut back to the shuttle. So you know the walkie went off, but you've ignored it, Greg. You're still at the door. Manny is next to the that will open it. What are you thinking she should do, Greg?
I tell her, get back, get Jimmy, stay back away from the door, a little bit off center in case somebody shoots through the door, but stay back. So basically, I'm getting Maud out of danger, putting Jimmy with her just in case, and the idea is I'm eventually going to open this door, and I don't want her in danger.
Of course you don't. Duty runs deep. Press the button, Greg.
What do I see?
A body. What's more disturbing is the cat that is eating its entrails. Would you roll for stress, please?
Six. Okay.
Increase stress by 1, please.
I am close.
Remember, you have those seek relief from the horror moves that you can, as you create fictional positioning, you can go with them.
Okay. I might have to do that.
Well, go on, then tell me what your reaction is.
Outwardly, nothing. Inwardly, I'm a little bit more broken inside. I look at the cat, I go, and I hiss at the cat, and try to make him move away from his feast. What do I see?
The cat skitters down the corridor out of sight. There is a body lying in front of you, and it the nearest wound you've seen to this was when you once saw a guy shot from behind with a very high caliber uranium tipped automatic rifle round, and the front of his chest just exploded.
Okay. Do I see? Is he wearing a uniform? Does he look like he's a crook? What do I?
He looks like another space trucker. He's wearing. He doesn't have a uniform. At least your coveralls have USCSS Lake, on the chest. But he's just wearing whatever, leather jacket, t-shirt, jeans.
I roll him over and I try to get a feel for how long he's been dead for. Does he look like he's he's been dead for hours or days?
This looks like an investigate, doesn't it?
Okay. Yes,
so,
it does.
Roll to investigate. Heavy weapon, survival. I'm going to include survival in this because I think this is something that your military training you will have seen before. So you're rolling with expertise. No tools. Do you want to include a stress dice?
No.
Then roll with those 2 dice. And as I say, you
5.
might want to hit refresh once you've done that.
Yep, got a 5.
Okay, so with a 5, the basic information is this guy was not shot from behind. There is no entry wound. And he's been dead about a week.
Okay, so
Maybe.
it almost looked like a grenade exploded from inside.
Well, on a 5, you get to ask me a question about this situation.
Okay. Do I have any idea what could have burst from his chest?
Not a grenade.
It looks like the cat was inside of him.
Well, look, the cat wasn't bloody. It was sat there with its head in his chest, eating.
How, in this world, how common knowledge are the XOs?
Not at all.
Okay, I didn't think so. So,
let me just think about that. You could ask me a question. Have you ever heard of anything like this before? And I would be honor bound to answer it.
have I?
There was a guy. a couple of years ago, it came into the press and then disappeared because the company just crushed it. But it was a guy who'd been he was a released convict, and he claimed he was the only survivor of a small convict colony, and there was something in there about this alien that kind of burst out of somebody's chest. Shit. The convict, it was here. It's called Fury it was called Fury in the book you read, or you read about. But yeah, Fury, they called it Fury. The convicts called it Fury, but it's Fiorina 161. Would you roll for stress, please?
Okay.
Or would you like to activate a stress relief move before, or instead of that?
Well, I did roll for, and I'm okay. But what I am going to do is a stress release move, which is I'm going to fire a single round into his skull.
Okay. Shall we treat that as if you beat someone up?
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so you automatically get 1 stress back.
Okay.
And then you roll the stress dice on that table.
A 6. That's not good.
Okay. 4+, and they are an NPC. Agree with the GM whether you run off to be on your own for a while or do something that puts the team at risk.
I think firing my weapon put the team at risk.
Because I will certainly advance the risk clock.
What I do is, how about I just fire a single round, don't say anything to anybody else, and I just start to proceed onward.
Okay. You rolled a 6, though. It was really worth it. Reduce stress by an extra 1. Manny, he told you not to come to the door, but then a gun goes off. What do?
I'm kind of like, Jesus fuck, and then proceed to like sideways, and then like look in like, what the hell?
And you see the body. Now clearly the body has not been killed by the gun, by the shot he's just discharged. He's walking down this corridor. You need to roll for stress because that's a freaky bit of shit.
All right. Reroll. Confirming 3.
Which means your stress goes up by 1.
Yep.
Unsurprisingly, frankly. So Greg has kind of just marched off down the corridor towards a different bit of the kind of habitat of this thing. Do you follow him or not?
Yeah.
Before you do, Jimmy's at the bottom of the steps running up to this gantry that leads to the life deck. And Jimmy's saying, "What the fuck was that?"
Jimmy, you're going to need to be quiet right now.
What do you mean quiet?
We don't know if there's anything else.
What do you mean anything else? Don't you mean anyone?
Yes, and actually, yes.
Okay. And Jimmy comes up the gantry to you and sees this and says, "Fucking shit, man!" And he is down the gantry out the back of the shuttle running for the ship. Unless you want to catch him. At that point, we cut back to the other team, making its way at pace back to the ship. I mean, in terms of observation, it's on a landing pad. There's nothing obscuring line of sight between you and it, apart from any cover you want to describe yourself as being in. So, Elroy, what do you do?
Yes, the ship looks okay. Maud, you got a military background. What do you think we should do here? We need to clear the ship, make sure it's okay.
I suspect we need to go in the ship. So if looking at the ship, does it look exactly the same as we left it?
Okay, that sounds like a roll to investigate, Maud.
Yes, it does. Okay.
And reassuring, analysis and med tech and a science officer. I don't think that's kind of stakeout country. So I don't think there's expertise in this. And I'm not sure you have the right tools. So you're rolling the white dice. Unless you want to include your stress dice.
Oh, thank you.
Just the white dice.
6.
Oh my goodness me. What can I tell you? Okay. It looks exactly as you left it. You know, the ramp at the back that you left through is still down, waiting for you to come home. There's no sign of anything different. You know, you can see the lights in the cabin are on. All the downlighters that illuminate the pad are on. It's exactly like you left it. That's the basic information. But with a 6, you get to ask me 2 questions.
Once we enter the ship, is there any way for us... Does the tech enable us to look at any other part of the ship?
There's no internal CCTV. There's internal comms.
Okay. I can't think of a good second question.
You can always ask Elroy to chip in.
Elroy, what should we ask?
Yeah, so the ship looks fine. Is anything around the ship look weird?
Yes, Elroy. No, I don't know. No,
not at all.
No,
okay.
no. It looks just the way you left it.
Well, let's go in.
I would like to try to radio Emily and see if anything happens. Emily? Captain?
Look, Emily was probably hitting the sauce and slipped and fell down when we called, and she's passed out on the floor. Okay? Come on now. Let's verify, make sure she's in bed and okay, and then we need to go get to the other folks, right?
And I think it's fair to say that Evelyn is saying, will someone explain to me what's going on?
I will make direct eye contact with Evelyn and say, we radioed the captain. We heard a noise we couldn't identify. We radioed the other team. They were out of range. We're investigating. Please be quiet.
That sounds like you're trying to reassure her and get her to toe the line, Maud.
I am.
Would you like to roll with expertise? Because one of your expertise is reassuring. You go full medic on her. Roll with expertise. I don't think there's a tool for this. Do you include your stress dice or not?
I do not.
2 dice, please.
5.
She it's the first time you've seen her look at all vulnerable. We'll see her kind of look at you, and she knows that something is up. But that means she needs to zip it. And she's okay. Okay. I'll wait here. You go ahead. Yeah?
Yes, I thank her. I say something reassuring. And then I'm like, Elroy, let's split the difference. I think that something may be going on. You don't think something's going on. Let's just not, I don't know, walk in there shouting or something.
Sounds good. And I get out my my cutting torch and like I do a little like gun trick with it, flip it around in my hand, and I'm like, all right, let's go.
I think I'll flip you off.
And so you approach with care, I think, the ramp. But
Elroy's not so. I mean, he's curious, but he doesn't feel like he's going to get shot or anything.
Of course. Yeah. But he's just humouring Maud.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, when you investigated Maud, you rolled a 6, so you got to ask me the questions. But it says, but also say what freaks you out and or reminds you of the danger you're in. Can I just tell you what freaks you out? It's the wide blood smear that you couldn't see from the angle until you came round to the ramp proper. There's a blood smear down the ramp.
Oh my God!
Would you roll for stress, please, Elroy?
All right, let's do this. Oh, 2. Disgusting, but nothing he hadn't seen before.
I'm not going to make Maud roll because I think her medic background, it's just blood at this point.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I mean, out on the frontier, I saw some horrible heavy machinery accidents. So, yeah.
That's the point.
Well, yeah, that ain't good there. That's going to hurt.
Take it down a notch.
Let's cut back to the shuttle. Greg, you've stepped over the body. You've marched on up through the life system. Where are you heading?
I'm basically going room to room, kind of like a train to clear a house. So wait to go around the door, firearm go through, look, proceed to the next room. Just to be aggressive. That's my first thought. If it's something bad, go at it rather than that's training, I guess.
Go Marine.
Yep.
Hoorah! Manny, do you follow Greg or do you hang back, or catch up with Greg or hang back?
Actually trying to catch up because right now. 2 directions. One has a bolt gun and one has a pistol. So it's not really a hard choice at the moment. Although, pretty sure we want the bolt gun at some point, maybe. Kind of important, but...
Okay. So, Manny's caught up to you, Greg, as you investigate the various bits of these cabins. So I think you're rolling to investigate.
I think so too. So is this still survival?
I think in this context survival will count as expertise, yeah, because this is you're doing it carefully.
And I am going to add a stress die because I think it applies.
Okay.
6.
Oh gee whiz, so another 6. So, it appears to be deserted. But you get to ask me 2 questions, and then, because it's a 6, something may freak you out.
My first thought is, since this is now what I would think to be some sort of combat encounter, my first thought is, what can we use in here to defend ourselves? So I look to see if they have any equipment, firearms, etc., armor, who knows what ship might have. And the other thing is, do I see any indication of what that evil thing could have gone? Do I see any indication if it's Is there a busted out window that it could have gotten out of? I don't think it's necessarily going to open a door. So how it got out.
Okay. It's pretty much deserted. In terms of what's useful, this is clearly kind of off the books. None of the regs are being followed here. You will find a pump action shotgun, which has been discharged.
Are there any rounds?
Yes.
All right, I pick that up.
So if you mark your equipment to reflect that.
Okay.
For clarity, weapons don't have an ammo. You can use them as much as you like, but I have the option sometimes to exact a price, and that might be shit out of ammo now.
Okay.
And your second question, yes, I think towards the end of that main corridor, you've been working your way off rooms, and something has gnawed its way, bitten its way through the side of some ducting. So
does it look like it left the vessel?
No, gone deeper into the ducting.
Okay. My first thought is figure out something that I can jam into the ducting, so it would make it very hard for it to come out the same hole.
Yeah, I won't make you roll for that. You can move, somebody's
a chair in it or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Manny,
I turn.
What are you making of all of this?
My attention's on the shotgun action at the moment. It's like, can't fire two guns at once.
I immediately handle. You go. You know what? I go. You know which end the bullets come out of?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
I hand her the firearm.
Okay.
Which one?
The smaller one.
Okay.
A Marine's not going to give you the bigger gun.
And I think we see you covering the rest of the ship, or the life system at least. There's a ladder down to engineering. But this looks like it's run on a shoestring. It almost looks like it's been abandoned. There's a layer of dust on stuff now you begin to look at it. That rear ramp has been open probably as long as that body's been here. It's running on battery. Okay?
I look over at Manny and I say we lock up the rear hatch, go back to the ship, and then we can always come back if we need to.
Sounds good to me. Also, Jimmy cracked. Why he's not here?
All right.
Maybe we'll find him on the way back, but I'm not in the mood to go doing a...
I am out of laundry duty this week. Somebody else is going to have to handle that mess.
Exactly.
Let's cut back to the ramp at the back of the lake. You've seen the blood smear. What do you do?
So does the blood smear continue into the ship?
It looks like something was dragged out of the ship, leaving the smear.
Gotcha.
What I perhaps now that the initial shock's worn off, Maud, I think I can tell you that this is not, pints of blood. This is, a smear of blood.
Greg just runs into the ship. He's like calling for people, right? He's just like, hey, Emily, are you there?
I think we mean Elroy, but I'm with you.
Yeah, whoever, yeah.
So Elroy's just running the ship.
He's not like crazy. He just hasn't been in this sort of situation, so he's an actor, right? He just gets in and starts doing stuff.
Okay, well, you've got a couple of choices. The schematic says you come into, the airlock junction. You've come in up the ramp. You can go straight ahead to the kitchen mess hall. You can go right to the hypersleep pods, or you can go left towards science and spacesuit storage. Where do you go?
he's gonna make his way to the mess hall on the way to the bridge.
Is there any way I'm fast enough to just grab his collar and put him down?
Or you can certainly roll to try.
Okay.
So I think that I need you to roll to do something else. I'm not sure we've got much in the way of expertise going for you. Oh, you got fight. Yeah, everybody can fight. I was about to say, it
might... I'm just trying to keep him from getting further into the ship.
Okay, so you're trying to grab him and just slow him down. So roll with expertise.
Can I?
You do have the gun.
Oh.
Roll with expertise.
Can I fight her on that, or how
well,
is that?
Let's see how this goes, and then we'll resolve it.
Excellent. Gotcha.
5 and a 6.
5 and a 6. Greg, if you can beat a 5 or a 6. Yeah?
Okay, yeah, let's do this. Can I
equal it and you'll get standoff.
Okay, so do I roll a failure die?
No, not at this point, because I don't think it's got that violent.
Okay, yeah, let me, let's see, I will do, I guess I'm tough.
You are.
Do I get, is that 2 die?
No, sadly
expertise?
not. You just get expertise. Unless you want to...
I get expertise, right? So I get white and orange.
Yeah, but you could threaten her with a welding torch.
No, I think I'm just going to add a stress.
Okay,
right.
So roll
I'm just
all 3 dice.
Getting away from her, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, did not beat a 6. Oh wait, okay, all right. When I refresh, stress was a 6.
Oh, great! So stress goes up by 1.
Yeah.
That's a tie, but because you do have that tough expertise, I'm going to give you the edge.
Okay.
So you grab him. I see you grabbing him, Maud, but he shakes you free. He's a big, muscly bloke when it comes down to it, and he's off. Yeah, he gets away. Unless you want to wing him.
Oh no.
Okay, so you're running down towards the mess hall, and you rolled a 6, didn't you, Greg?
Yes.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
Elroy,
yes.
Do you want me to tell you what you find that's disturbing, or do you want to tell me?
Tell me what I find.
It's a mess. Clearly, there's been a struggle of some description here, and as you're kind of looking round, you kind of put your hand down on the mess table, and there's this kind of glutinous, viscous material. Okay,
yeah. I'm looking at that and I'm touching it, right? I'm curious. So
now the way this works, Elroy, is that you rolled a 6 in that fight, yeah? Mm-hmm. So you need to roll for stress because you're having to face down a crewmate here. So roll for stress for that one.
All right. Let's see. That was a 4, so that goes up.
It does. And now you found this viscous crap in the signs of a struggle. Mm-hmm. So would you roll for stress again?
3.
Solid.
And I'm interested in finding the uppers.
Well, you know that there are some in the med bay, in the science bay. So you can get round there and try to get in.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to need the uppers in the near future.
Meanwhile, Maud, I'm thinking you probably have gone after him, but not at a flat run? Or not?
How close to the ship is the undergrowth that the blood sphere got dragged into?
The undergrowth here is pretty much the weeds that have grown up in the 2 years the place has been abandoned. So we're talking about nothing bigger than a shrub. The fact is, it's the kind of mass of pipework that provides most of the obstacle. So it's probably like the smear was going in that direction over there. That's as good as it gets at this point.
Okay.
But you could try to find another spot of blood, perhaps.
I'm thinking Greg is more likely to murder me if I lose Emily than Elroy. And I prefer not to be murdered. So I'm going to look for more blood.
Okay, I will come to you in a moment. Let's switch back to the shuttle, where I think we see you manually, as well as the kind of electrics. There'll be a kind of manual kind of seal up the back. Yeah? And then head back towards the ship, and if so, quickly or sedately?
I'm thinking not a full run, but basically like a good pace. The idea is we want to get back there, but we don't want to kick in the door exhausted.
Okay. You're heading, Maud, in the direction this blood smear, because it came down the ramp and then you spotted some more of it on the pad itself heading in that direction. So you head in that direction. What do you do when you're conscious of something behind you?
Twirl and aim, not shoot.
Holy shit, says Evelyn.
Sorry, a little jumpy. Have you seen anything out here?
What do you mean? You just went in and then you didn't come out, so I came up to see what was going on. And now you and you went over there, so I went over there. I mean, that Elroy guy is kind of freaky. You're okay. What's your name?
Still Maud.
Shit,
So
yes, I'll get it right. It's just been a difficult day.
I look around. I'm trying to figure out somewhere to stash Evelyn. That seems fairly out of the way that she'll stay, but not in the ship.
On the ship would be the obvious answer to that question.
Okay.
Or with you.
Well, okay. Try to stay behind me. I'm trying to follow this trail.
Trail of what?
Catch up.
And then you can see that kind of dawning realization, and she kind of looks. Whose blood is that?
I don't know yet. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll stay behind you.
Thank you.
And we see the pair of you disappear into this maze of piping. Let's cut back to Elroy. You are at the entry, the doors to the med bay, and technically, you need the science officer to open up the med bay. That doesn't mean you can't go round it, but you need to use Comtech or something like it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Is that an expertise that you have?
Let me check. I don't think so. Just heavy machinery.
But you are the chief engineer.
So
you have expertise.
Sounds
good. This is an engineering task?
And yeah, I'll use the stress die for this.
Go for it.
6, and stress was a 2. So 2 steps forward, 1 steps back.
Okay, so yeah, you get in. You know the bypass for this. So the door opens. And I will agree with you, an extra benefit that you get. What's the extra benefit from this?
Okay. Well, I mean, I've used uppers on the job. And so I would say the Okay, so I also find maybe something that I could use as a weapon. Something that I look at and I'm like, oh, hey, that could be deadly.
Yeah. What about let's call it an improvised weapon? So it's
Okay.
it's a maybe it's a medical thing. It's a big chunk of metal.
Yeah.
Yeah. You use a club. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
maybe,
fine.
or something with electrical charge on it, or maybe those
Oh,
defibrillator,
paddles.
something. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
go for it. Yeah,
Okay.
there's space at the bottom of the equipment list for stuff that I haven't thought of, and I've never thought of
Okay.
that. So
All right.
portable shock. Yeah, great. Let's say that it just takes up one equipment slot. Yeah. Um, but also say what freaks you out and or reminds you of the danger you're in.
What freaks me out is I don't think this job is going to be completed.
Will you
So
roll for stress? You can see the checks home drying up.
yeah, I'm like, God damn it, why did I take this? Like, God, you're such an idiot. So just one stress die.
Yeah.
Oh, a 5.
So stress goes up by 1.
Yeah.
But on the good side, you now have a dose of uppers.
Yeah, I meet like it's almost like making the bathroom right before you gotta go. Like I'm just down on them now.
So if you get drunk or high on uppers, take a stress away and roll a d6.
All right. 1.
On 1 to 3, you're nasty when you're under the influence, and you're ashamed of yourself.
Right.
Your dependence on this is something that always creeps up on you. Mm-hmm. You cannot use your expertise until stress goes up again. You'll find a slot on the character keeper that says expertise available. The drop arrow says not available. Yeah?
Gotcha.
And I think, that we will then cut to a point by now. I think that Greg and Manny are emerging at the edge of the landing pad. Would now be a good time to take our last 5-minute break?
Yep.
Let's do that. Back at 8 past the hour?
And I have a hard stop at 6, so just giving you a heads up.
Fine.
All right.
Okay.
We'll give Greg a min. So, to recap, Maud has disappeared into this maze of piping with Evelyn in tow. Elroy is on board the lake. Greg and Manny have just arrived at the lake. And I think the first thing you will notice is indeed the blood smear. What do you do?
I mash on the walkie-talkie, and I go, Emily.
You will hear him calling for Emily, Maud, on the walkie that you're carrying. I think you've still got it. What do you do? You're muted.
This is Maud. Where are you at, Greg?
I'm here. I'm in the ramp. I see blood. What's going on? Who's hurt?
No idea. Following the blood trail.
I keep like I'm right behind you.
Okay.
I follow, accelerate, and hopefully run into her.
Okay. Just after that, Maud, you turn it off and you're kind of looking for where to go next through this, and there is Emily lying on the ground. What do you do?
I go to her.
Would you roll to investigate, please?
But of course. That's just one die.
I'm struggling to see. Oh no, I'm going to give you expertise for reasons that will become apparent. Go for it.
Okay. I was going to say analysis or something medical, but let's see. We roll 6. I've never rolled this well in my life.
Yeah, and the nice thing about this game is 6 risks your stress, and you keep rolling below your stress. It's remarkable. So you can ask me 2 questions. She is not dead. That's the basic.
Can I tell where she's bleeding from and how bad it is?
Actually, she's not bleeding from anywhere. But as you roll her over, there's this thing over her face. And Evelyn says, "What's that?" And she's not talking about the thing on Emily's face.
Oh, fuck.
Do you look where she's pointing, or do you keep staring at Emily?
I keep staring at Emily.
Would you roll for stress, please?
One.
Quite remarkable. And then Emily, behind you, Emily says, "I don't know what it is. It's opening."
Don't touch it.
And then there's a ah! What do you do, Maud? Do you turn around to see what's happening to Emily?
I assume you mean Evelyn, or I
beg your pardon, Evelyn. Yeah.
I don't want to take my eyes off of whatever the hell is happening to Emily, but I also feel some amount of we can't go back without the EDI rep.
That's when Greg and Manny appear. You see, off to one side, Maud was so fixated on Emily that she didn't even look. You can see 2 large egg-shaped structures, about 3 feet high, with almost petal-like openings at the top. And they both are open. And Evelyn, Emily, you still have a question in hand, Maud.
Have I, is this in any way something that I've heard about, even like the vaguest of rumors?
Okay, I think that you may have heard. It's an apocryphal story that medics tell one another about the fact that there is this alien life form out there that lays its eggs inside people.
Greg, we have to get them back to the ship and quarantined.
Let's cut back to Elroy. The uppers have really kicked in. You know, you feel, like $1,000 in terms of stress. You're a bit ashamed of yourself, but still. What do you do?
I would say one thing is Elroy has slipped into some sort of vernacular he grew up with. Right, he was a roughneck, and so he kind of put that aside to climb the ranks, but that's slipped out. So he's got the uppers, he's got the portable shocker, and so he's going to make his way to the bridge.
And it's as you left it. What do you want to do?
Okay. So he's going to look. Is there any sort of data on the ship, as far as resources? Are the systems all running?
Okay, yeah. I'm not going to force you to roll for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that as chief engineer, you can do a very quick systems check. You could take off now.
Okay. Do I have access to the walkie-talkies? Can I contact them through the ship?
Because you can contact, because everything, there's the walkie-talkies and there's the bridge, the ship. So you can call out, yeah.
Okay. I'm like, all right. Hey folks, the ship is all running great now. I think we should be getting off now.
That'll come over both walkies. There's probably a screech of feedback given that you are close together. It is the 1980s.
I kind of ignore that entirely, I guess. My first reaction is to fire a shotgun blast into each one of the things, the pods that I see. Not those, but the other things.
Okay. I'm not going to make you roll for that. I think that they explode in an appropriately, or the first one explodes in an appropriately and satisfying manner. Manny, what do you do when you hear a kind of behind you?
Immediately turn around and back up with gun drawn.
Okay. In front of you is a almost skeletal, shiny, glossy black ebony creature with a large elongated head. You will see on the core rules there is a thing called xenomorph behaviors. Only characters with fast or heavy weapons expertise can act before a xenomorph when it first appears in a scene. You don't have either of those, so roll to determine what it does when it appears. Would you roll 1d6, please? The white one would be nice.
And confirming 5.
Okay, we go down to warrior. First, roll for stress.
Three.
Which I think is okay for you, isn't it? Yeah, that's okay. You stay cool. On a 5, on 4+, it pauses, assessing the threat you pose. So you see this big head kind of just twists both ways as though considering you. What do you do before it rolls again? I'll remind you of the rule. The move says confront it, and that includes things like you could distract it, hide from it, run for it. I will say to you that if you confront a warrior up close and personal, the move says describe how you die.
I'm assuming.
Does she stay or does she go?
Okay, so is there? The warrior is where we were coming from, right? So it's blocking the ship direction.
It's dropped down behind you. No, to one side. I won't be that harsh. You could run for the ship without going past it. You could run away from it towards the ship.
There is like time to go, people. It's just
Okay, Manny. So there is a move under other rules called run for it. When your choices are limited and the GM agrees there's a reasonable route by which you can escape, roll a d6. Do you have any kind of survival expertise?
yes. Wait, confirming. I think so, but I'm double checking.
Oh no, yes, you and unobtrusive. So you know you can use expertise. There's no tool for this, but do you want to roll with the stress dice?
Yeah.
Roll all 3 dice, please.
They're a little stressed. All right. 6.
Okay.
And it's the stress die.
So stress goes up by 1. No roll. You made it for now. You've escaped the scene of danger. I'll ask you what you do next in a moment. Evelyn is lying there. Emily is lying there. Manny was just behind you, I think it's fair to say, Greg. And you hear her say, oh shit, and then you can hear her running away. Do you spin round?
It's time to go.
I turn around.
And there's a warrior.
I do the only thing that I possibly can do, which is turn and fire at it.
Now, the good thing is that your expertise includes heavy weapons. So you can act before it. So we roll to confront a threat.
Yep.
Yeah? It's not up close and personal. So when you attack a threat, say what success looks like. Do them harm, conceivably.
Oh, yeah.
And roll a d6. Add
So
1d6
I
if you have expertise.
Heavy
Yeah.
weapons. I have the tool and a stress die, so I'm rolling all 4.
Okay.
I got a 6 on the stress die.
Oh, right. Well, stress goes up by 1 before we do anything else. On a 6, you succeed brilliantly, and the GM will agree with you what extra benefit you get. So you let go at this, and you hit it front and center. And the front of the warrior just explodes. What advantage do you think it's reasonable you would get?
I'm thinking that it's going to second guess this moment as it's time to confront. So I think it would. It's going to try to bugger off.
Oh, you've blown it apart.
Oh, I've blown it apart. Okay, so I guess the advantage is I don't know. You tell me. I mean, this is one of those.
Can I suggest that the acid splash doesn't hit you?
Oh, that would be nice.
So what you notice, this thing explodes, is thrown backwards, and wherever the blood lands, you can see it just burning straight through steel.
Oh, that's some nasty stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Elroy's going to have a lot of work to do.
Talking of Elroy, back on the ship, Elroy. You called through, but you've got nothing coherent back. What do you do?
Okay, he pulls up the landing. He pulls up the
ramp.
The ramp. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, he pulls up the ramp, goes in the comms, and's like, okay, Da, this is the last call out. Last train out, folks.
What do you do? Maud, you've seen this happen. Manny's already in motion. I think that shot will have dragged your face away from Emily. And, what do you do?
The giant explosion of blood. Acidic blood. I hear Elroy on the walkie-talkie and say something like, for fuck's sake, and then ask Greg if he can get in touch with Mother and keep Elroy from leaving.
The simple answer to that is no.
Okay.
You would need Emily's key card, which she is wearing, to get into the little kind of womb-like room in which Mother is consulted, but that's on the ship. There's no remote here.
Okay. We need to get back. I'll take whichever Emily or Evelyn is smaller. I'm assuming it's Evelyn.
Yeah.
Throw her over my shoulder.
Okay.
I'm probably going to get eaten by the facehugger, but we need to get out of here.
Oh, the facehugger's very content where it is. Thank you very much. And you carry her back. I'm assuming, Greg, that you carry Emily back, so we have both of them coming back?
Yeah, nobody else touches her.
Okay. And you radio ahead, I think. Manny, I think you will get to the ramp, because you didn't have to go far into this metalwork. I think, Manny, you get to the ramp before Elroy hauls it up. Yeah?
Okay.
What do you do as you race up the ramp?
Do I have to hit something for the comms in the ship?
Yeah.
Or can I? So yeah, I'm actually just running to the bridge without even saying anything because I need to plot a course. And I do want people to come. I was like, time to go. But if I wait for them, it's going to take longer for me to plot the course. Okay. So I'm just trying to plot the course as fast as possible.
So Manny, you run into the bridge, and you skid to you slipped on something, but you just head for your station. Mm-hmm. Do you? Fine. And you slide into your seat, and you're instantly kind of, plotting atmospheric exit. Yeah, okay. And I think probably as you were heading up to the bridge, you heard the ramp kind of go. And so it is closed, Greg and Maud, when you struggle back with these two. What do you do?
We radio on. It's just like, we're here. We're trying to load the wounded. Open up the damn door.
And it's fair to say, Elroy, you will have a camera that shows the back of the ship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I hear him. I'll be like, oh, now you answer. Oh, took your sweet time, didn't you?
Open the door.
Look, I'm sick of your shit, Greg. The door's opening. Chill out, dude.
And so
I'm yelling at him to relieve some stress.
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah,
he's always sticking it to me on, does this work? Does this work? And hey, the door works. Happy?
Reduce stress by 1 and roll a d6.
Okay. 2.
Then on a 2, you were disgusted with yourself. Your inadequacy is clear to anyone watching, including you. You cannot use your expertise until stress goes up again. So you've already got that penalty in place. So.
Yeah.
such is life. But it got you stressed. What the hell?
Or maybe I've just become completely useless. Like I've forgotten my job now, right? Like I'm just sitting in a chair, like I told you this was going to happen. I told you this was going to happen.
Manny, Elroy is having an episode in on the bridge. Emily and Evelyn are being kind of carried up the ramp. Where are you going to take them, Maud? You are muted. Maud, you're muted.
You're muted.
Medbay.
Okay. And you lie them down. What are you going to try and do, Maud?
I'm going to try to pry it off Evelyn's face.
And that's really difficult. But I'm prepared to let you try with your medical skills. So this is roll to do something else with expertise. You have the tools available. Do you want to include your stress dice to get all 4 dice?
Sure, why not?
Maud is the coolest customer on the ship.
Okay. 6 for the right tool, 2 for stress.
Okay, so with the right tool, you prise it off, and there's a tube that it's almost like they've been intubated. You kind of pull this out, but she's still unconscious, and the thing just flexes once, and then just goes dead. And I think I'll let you do the same with the other one.
Okay.
But this is freaky shit. Would you roll for stress, please?
But of course. A 6.
Stress goes up by 1. We finally found Maud's weak spot. Greg, what are you doing? You've left Maud alone, I guess, in the med bay.
My first thought is, did Jamie make it back?
That's an interesting question that no one yet has asked.
I'm the XO trying to figure out where everybody is before we blast off.
Okay, so if Jimmy has a safe place, it's down on engineering deck 2.
I need to go look to see if he is there. I don't want to have to write a letter unless I have to.
Okay, Manny, what are you going to do? Where do you go? You're plotting a course. You're plotting a course. There is no one in the pilot's seat.
Yep.
Elroy's lost it.
He's still in the room.
Oh, Elroy's in the room. Yeah, he's there. He's in his seat, just staring at panels, just having an episode.
Okay. I'll be right there. I'm just checking for Jimmy.
So you down the ladders to engineering deck 1, down the ladders to engineering deck 2. This vast space, dark, shadowy, poorly lit. There's the drip of condensation everywhere. What do you do?
I yell for him. That's I'm gonna give him just one shot, just Jimmy, and just see if he responds.
And I think that you hear a gurgle. What do you do?
I smile. I follow the gurgle.
Jimmy is being held off the ground by his neck. And you see a large head come close and the jaws open and bang! Straight through the forehead. Would you roll for stress, please?
Okay. 3. which ties. Does that mean I...
No, has to be higher than to go up. So, cool with this. What do you do, Greg?
I am actually excited because what it did is, while it's actually doing the attack, that means it's stuck there for a second and I can take a shot at it.
Fine.
It's
with the
horrible.
shotgun. Roll to confront a threat. So
4.
Okay, so you succeed with no obvious complications or benefits. Bang! Again, it's thrown away. Poor old Jimmy goes with it. Acid spills over Jimmy. We see steam as he just dissolves, and you can see the acid going through the floor of engineering deck 2.
I proceed upwards. Jimmy is dead.
Okay. Maud, Emily and Evelyn are now free of this thing, whatever it was. And Emily is kind of blinking her eyes open and saying, you know, what happened? You are muted, by the way.
I am cognizant of the urban legend that Emily is now going to hatch, and I attempt to restrain her.
I think at this point she's weak as a kitten, so you have no trouble restraining her. And so I guess there are kind of secure straps on both these medical beds.
Yep.
And she says, "What are you? Okay. I'm okay."
I just have to check you out. I need to make sure you don't move for a little bit.
Okay. Do you strap Evelyn down as well?
Yes.
Okay. Course is plotted, Manny. As I think Greg kind of comes into the bridge, I can see him just leaning one hand on the door of the bridge, breathing deeply, and then doing what, Greg?
I sit down in the pilot seat. I lean over and I go, "Is the course plotted?" As I mark 2 notches right on the side of the shotgun barrel.
Nice.
It is indeed.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Go on, Manny. I
Okay. At this point, Manny's like, this dude's ex-mil. And ends up like saying to like Elroy, who are we ready to take off? Like, are we ready? Course is plotted. Is everything else ready? And he's
yeah, we'll find out. Yeah.
I take that as I have to. I basically have to take that as a go, and I start to pull away, or at least try to.
and I think we will see the lake rise that way. It does that slow kind of rise and then angle up and into orbit. And everything seems fine.
All right. And I wait until we get into orbit, and then I can get up and go see Emily.
And Emily's lying in bed, strapped down with Evelyn, who Evelyn is also kind of, shaking this. And I'm guessing, Maud, that there are 2 biohazard containers on the side, these kind of glass biohazard containers with these 2 kind of things in. And Emily's saying, "Look, will you? Maud won't let me up. She says I'm not fit yet."
You gotta trust the doc.
I am do I have some sort of imaging equipment that I don't know what the 80s had for imaging equipment? I would like to look at Emily's insides.
Let me come to that in a moment. Elroy, have you kind of, come down a little bit?
Yeah, I think what I'm picturing is Elroy. He's come down, and he starts just like, he'll be like, I'll be in my bunk.
Now, one of the peculiarities of alien spaceships is the only bunks they appear to have on commercial starships are, in fact, the hypersleep pods.
Okay.
So you sleep on the bed. You don't close it down, but that's
right.
You're going to rest.
He's looking to just crash. Yeah.
So he's kind of zombie like going to the crash coach.
Yeah.
Manny, you're alone on the bridge when you notice an incoming message marked personal, Manuelo Arroyo.
Manuela, and open it.
Priority message, Wayland Yutani Correctional Department. Dear Ms. Arroyo, believe Lake acquired interesting xenomorph form. Please ensure delivery intact.
All right. So understood.
What are you going to do, Manny?
Will I be able to send a message and get a message back?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And I asked, does this clear everything?
Debt repayments currently being adjusted. Confirmation on delivery. Wayland Yutani Correctional Department.
Send understood.
And I think then we'll cut back to the medical bay, where you have indeed imaged Maud. Elroy, you're sleeping it off. Maud, you're still in the med bay with Greg, I think, at this point. So you have imaged this, and there is indeed something in their chests. What do you do? You're muted.
Wow, I'm bad at that. I sedate them.
Okay. Greg, I think probably, given what we know, Maud will not keep this from you. That there's something inside them.
I don't think that he was there when I was looking at them.
Okay. No, fine. So they're sedated.
I also saw the remnants of what that means.
Very true. So what's the obvious solution?
Is Emily sedated?
Yep. So is Evelyn.
I basically take Maud's sidearm. I walk over. I kiss Emily once on the forehead. And I put a single round in her forehead.
Oh my God! Maud, roll for stress.
What the ever-loving fuck? 5.
I think stress will go up. I think that's the point, Manny, when you arrive at the med bay.
What are those things?
That's your first question?
Right, there's a blown head. I kind of think I figured the logic there. I think about it. It's like, oh yeah.
Now, I'm inclined.
Did blow the head of the other one in the shuttle. So, like, I guess you just do that. Hmm?
I look over and I say to no one, I go, it's what I hope she would do for me.
What do you know that I don't?
I go, I saw what happens. I see where I see where it is on the chart, and I see what it is and I see how it comes out, and I see what it looks like when it comes out, and nobody can survive that.
How do you know when it comes out?
Because
we could have gotten them back.
Yeah, we could.
Just so I'm clear, Evelyn is still alive.
I am inching between Evelyn and Greg.
Greg, what's your feeling about? What's your feeling about Evelyn?
I can't stand her, but at the same time, if their dog is rabid, you put the dog down.
Manny, there's a standoff between Greg and Maud. It looks like Greg is shaping up to repeat the exercise with Evelyn. Which side do you take here? I will remind you that you still have the sidearm.
Right. So,
At this moment, can Elroy? He's all refreshed. He's just kind of like, oh, hey guys, what's going on? What's everyone doing in the med bay for?
Now I'm struck by the fact that we have 15 minutes to play, and we know Philip's on a hard deadline. I don't think we get much more satisfying an end than a Mexican standoff over a xenomorph embryo.
Yeah,
I agree.
So I'm inclined to say that's the point at which next time on ...
Yeah.
kicks in. Is that sufficiently satisfying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I would, if that's okay, like to do a quick debrief.
Yeah.
For one shots, I use a thing called roses and thorns. So roses are things in the fiction or anything else you liked about the last 3 3/4 hours. Thorns are the things that you kind of think, oh, that grated. So, and I'll run across in character keeper order then. So can I start with any roses for the system or for the other players? So Philip, any roses?
Sure. First of all, for the system, I think it's easy to understand, it's easy to pick up, and at the same time, you've constantly have that sort of Damocles over you. Like it's you're just, all you know is you need to put together a combination of 2 bad rolls, and suddenly you're cooked, no matter how good a game you're having. So that's a good element. I also enjoyed playing with everybody. I think it was a good group, a good mix of people, and that's what you look for. So I guess from are we doing roses and thorns together?
No, I'll do roses. I'll come back for thorns.
Okay.
Glitch, roses.
One, like the same, like everyone, it was great. You guys were a lot of fun. And the system when I was because this is my first time playing anything like this. Never played Cthulhu Dark, never even played Call of Cthulhu, whatever. Like none of those. So I'm like, this is nice. I was nervous at first about learning a new system, but and I was reading it and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to remember it, but I think that you're able to present the information such that like after a little bit of like adjustment, I was able to pick it up and understand it. So on top of that, I also appreciate how you're able to explain the system.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Thank you. I would stress it's a very simple system. So Low
You
bar.
take the compliment.
Yes.
Greg. Greg person, not Greg character now. Any roses?
Yeah, I thought the system was great. I like Cthulhu Dark, but I definitely like the specific things that were added. Right, that it was. Yeah, I think Cthulhu Dark was just basically you investigate and do anything else. And so the idea that you have a couple of other defined moves is, I think it actually enhances it. So I think that was great. No, I love the pacing. The breaks were a nice little thing. Didn't feel like I need them, but like I was concerned. Okay, is my attention going to last for 4 hours? And it did. So I think that's excellent. Yeah, well, especially too how you this fit very well as you could just explain it as we go along, which was great.
Good.
So
Good. Well, and then Kim, roses.
I really appreciated the character keeper and the background and the visuals. I felt really sort of well shepherded. Like things didn't get bogged down at any point, but I also never felt rushed. And I think that that's a really impressive balance to have struck.
Thank you. For me, roses.
One other thing. What I thought was awesome was also the mechanisms you had to relieve stress. I thought that was a big improvement on Cthulhu Dark.
Yeah, I have to say, one of my problems with Cthulhu Dark is it just goes down and down and down, and then you're gone. I don't mind playing to lose, but I like to make it a conscious choice to lose. If I can just pick out a couple of stars for me, I thought, Philip, that Greg was a really kind of well-rounded. You played him consistently all the way through, and that was great.
Thank you.
Glitch, I think that there were, a couple of times when Manny was behaving absolutely on the money, though might not be to the advantage of the character. You know what I mean? She was played real, which was tremendous. Kim, I thought Maud really came through there. That kind of steely bit that almost came out in play of she kept succeeding on the stress rolls. And it was almost like you began to play her more and more steely. So no, I'm going to go get Emily. And no, I'm not leaving Emily. And no, you cannot shoot her in the head. And Greg, one of the high points of this evening was Elroy's episode. I thought that was delightful. I thought that was real character.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
I loved
Great.
that. So
Glad you enjoyed
roses all round, guys. That was I really enjoyed that. Thorns. A quick scamper round. Philip.
Once I guess it happens a lot with one shots. The fact that it's a one shot, that's always a thorn. The other thing is, I guess we kind of forgot, they're the crew members at times. So it's one of those where that's always tough with when you have half as players and half as not. But other than that, I think it was smooth.
Great. Glitch. Any thorns?
Honestly, the main one for me was the issue with Roll for Your Party being somewhat kind of iffy at the moment. But as a tool, it looks like it's really cool, and I'm probably going to suggest it. But there were times where I didn't know if I had rolled my die, and I figured out how to know. So the other time I hadn't rolled the die, so that was just one roll. And it's just kind of very easy to accidentally drag the dice instead of select it.
Yeah, I'd be the first to admit that as an interface, it has gaps, but it's always worked in the past. I'm worried at the minute, particularly because I can't think of any other bit of kit that gives me that dice pool. But so I think and there's something nice about the anticipation of all looking at it and waiting for it, and that's kind of that was a bit gritty today. So no, I agree with you.
And there are some games that's the only way to actually play because the game has pooled dice. That's it. So.
Yeah, most of the other ones out there are kind of roll a certain number of DX, which will be okay for the PBTA I'm running tomorrow, but not for this. Greg, any thorns?
No, actually, the one thing that kind of was over my head is the idea that now they say this is recorded and will be posted, and I don't think I'm that comfortable with it, and I kind of obviously putting it on myself of don't be the guy that sticks out or have a problem with that. You know what I mean? So, I'm kind of giving myself, hey, this is the first time you do it. You can be a small jerk if you want to, right? So, but
I will ask that question at the end about posting.
Yeah, So that's just personally, something that stuck out. No, I thought it was awesome. The only thing I thought would be cool is, and it's a one shot, as you were saying, so you kind of have to get things in order relatively quickly. And I'm not too familiar with the Alien genre, right? And I've seen a couple of the movies, but what if a different kind of story was told? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the
what's next for the system, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The Alien RPG that Free League have produced, it claims to be able to run long term in this. I'm skeptical. I'm not sure as a genre. This is a slasher movie.
Right. Exactly.
I think probably 2 sessions, so you could have a little bit more space. But beyond that, I think you'd struggle with this. I think that's beyond what is expected. Kim, thorns.
So I have sort of the opposite problem of Greg, where I am intimately familiar with the Alien genre. And so I'm like, well, we're all fucked to start. So, and I was a little shocked that he could that Philip could one-shot 2 warriors.
Yeah, I mean, there's a degree of abstract in that,
right?
And I think if we were playing over a longer period, then that might have been trickier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have no idea how to run a fun and engaging game where you're all dead from the beginning.
Well, I think that is always the line you're walking, isn't it?
Right.
But no, I wouldn't claim this is a complete and realistic recreation.
Right. So yeah, my familiarity with the genre felt a little bit like a handicap to me. And Roll for Your Party was a little perplexing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I have no thorns apart from Roll for Your Party. I really enjoyed running for you guys, playing with you. That was good fun. So there, we have 2 minutes before I need to let Philip go. So I am very happy to post this where you lot can see it and nobody else can, or I can post it where anybody can see it.
I prefer it private.
Fine.
Fair enough.
Fine.
I do have a question of, do most people, are they fine with it getting posted online? Most games you hold? Within curious.
Within the Gauntlet, it's kind of taken for granted, but I appreciate that, if it, I do not want to stretch your comfort zone at all, Greg.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So,
that's good to know. Thank you.
So what I will do is I will upload it to my YouTube channel, but I will keep it private, and I will send you an email with the link to it. Yeah.
Cool.
Excellent.
And that's fine. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for playing. I'm going to stop the recording now. So.